Israel, as soon as we made the deal, they came out and they dropped a load of bombs, the likes of which I've never seen before. The biggest load that we've seen. I'm not happy with Israel. You don't go out in the first hour and just drop everything you have on them. So I'm not happy with them so long and so hard that they don't know what the fuck they're doing. Do you understand that?
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Hope you're having a wonderful time tonight. We are going to be apparently discussing Trex arms one more time because they decided to drop another 20-minute long video. Now, the reason that we are actually on time is because I have assembled the greatest panel of all time. Moving on. We should probably open up with, well, jokes aside, we actually do have Richard in the back. How's your night going, Richard?
It's going good. I was here on time, just so everybody's aware.
You arrived after I started the intro, so I mean, technically, maybe. It's close enough. Other than that, you're not going good?
Yeah. Other than about an hour before we started, I got a notification that my grandmother was being moved from one hospital to another via ambulance. So
sorry,
apparently having some kidney failure. So
yikes! Very sorry, man.
So yep, I got to talk to her for just a minute, and
if you need,
like
if you
good
need
spirits,
to, if you need to go talk during this, you don't need to be here, man.
No, there's nothing I can do right now. It's all in the doctor's hands right now. And I spoke with her earlier, and she seemed like she was in good spirits. So, just prayers. But aside from that, that's all we can do right now.
Yeah.
And I'd rather be here with you guys.
Yeah, appreciate it, Nimrod. Let's see here. We're gonna go ahead and move on to the first topic of the night. We're going to kind of quickly blow through some of these. These were going to be the main topics of the night, but I know why you're all here. It's because Trex Arms dropped a 20-minute rebuttal video, let's say, and as many receipts as they could, which will be interesting to see Lucas's response to all of this. Now, I haven't talked to Lucas, so I don't think he's going to be coming on or making an appearance tonight, but I thought that several times before. You never know. He could show up and get the stream taken down at his leisure. But as you can probably tell in the thumbnail a little bit, that we did in fact lose the HPA, the Hearing Protection Act, and the Short Act from the bill as it currently sits because of the Senate parliamentarian, which wasn't a position I never ever knew about before today, I guess.
Yeah, I thought we left Parliament a long time ago, but that was just my personal take on it.
Well, yeah, it's a weird title that only comes into effect like once a decade, and this lady has apparently been doing it for the last 12 years. But this is the only time that well, at least in recent memory, that I've been paying attention that she's been called out for doing this, basically. So what happened is, as far as I'm aware, there are much better legal scholars to go through all of this, but essentially they got removed because, according to this one individual, they violated the Byrd Amendment, which means that for budgetary bills, it has to be budgetary related. And since these are tax, they're budgetary related, but according to them, they're tax stamps on a regulated item. So it's not somehow, even though it's in the name. So they were removed by this parliamentarian. What's her name? Elizabeth McDonough has been the Chamber's referee, acting as a nonpartisan enforcer of its rules and precedents in what's typically a behind-the-scenes advisory role until it's not. So yeah, she's been doing it for like a decade or something like that. People have been calling for her to get fired. And unfortunately, my senator, Thune, is gay enough to go along with all of it, even though he's like, conservative or whatever that means. Thune's pretty lame, but he's the South Dakota senator, and he's probably going to be fine with that moving on in its current configuration. There is still a chance to get the HPA and Short put back in or reworded or finessed in some way, shape, or form, but if you were one of those individuals betting on nothing ever happening, well, guess what? It's just about time to cash out once again with nothing ever happens. The Short Act would have been sweet. The HPA would have been sweet. All those theory videos down the tubes, because that is simply no more.
Big rip for all those guys who thought it was going to go through and went ahead and put a can on order.
Yeah, I do. A lot of people did or put them on layaway or whatnot. I mean, they're still going to end up with a can, but now you have to spend an extra $200 per on the tax stamp, which is not fun. Now, to bring it back, yeah, Vintage, our Black Queen herself sums it up very well. Hey, at least we get the Chinese migrant housing land grab part of the bill. Am I right, guys? That's right. That part got put back in at the last minute. So the land grab bill, that's back in there. The cool stuff is gone. So originally it was a pile of crap with a couple cool things. Now it is just a pile of crap. And that is what is it probably actually going to pass in the next week. Yeah. Fell for it again. Yeah. I get it. Oh, let's see here. So, big oops. Now, originally, the title of the stream was going to focus on this because Zastava and some of the Serbian imports are being eliminated, essentially, which obviously AK owners most affected, which it doesn't affect me at all, so I just find it funny. But following some diplomatic blowback, the Serbian president, Aleksandar Vučić, announced this week that the country was halting all arms exports. The announcement, delivered by both Vučić, I don't know how you pronounce that, in an interview and a statement with the Serbian Ministry of Defense, lays out that all exports of weapons and military equipment manufactured in Serbia are suspended. Any future exports would require, in addition to the consent of other competent ministries and agencies, the consent of the National Security Council. The move comes as Serbia is catching heat from longtime ally Russia over munitions from the Balkan country appearing in Ukraine, possibly via third-party sources, right? So coming into the U.S. and then getting shipped back out to Ukraine, or a variety of other means that they end up in the war being used against Russia. This is exacerbated by reports that Belgrade also sold some 43 million euros worth of arms to Israel for some reason. I don't know if that's just AKs or whatnot. That's interesting. Iran, currently involved in a high-profile war with Israel, is a key Russian ally in the Middle East. So essentially, this is Russia saying, hey, guys, could you stop arming people that are working against us? According to the most recent statistics from federal regulators, American importers brought in 53,096 firearms from Serbia in 2024. If you say an average import price of $400, which is low, we are talking about, millions of dollars, right? Somewhere between 20 and 50 million dollars a year worth of imports. Not a huge chunk of the gun industry, but it is going to affect a lot of companies. Zastava USA builds a lot of their stuff off of imports, so I don't know if this is going to completely shut them down or what's going to happen there, or if this only affects complete firearms. So the firearms parts that are being imported to Zastava, that's all still well and good. Not entirely sure at this point, but yeah, AK users most affected. Does it affect anybody in this chat? No, not at all. Any thoughts on that before we move on, good sir?
My only thoughts on all of that.
Gay.
Yeah, very gay. We're talking about the ATF and the big beautiful bill, so it's all gay.
All gay.
Gabriel Baker for 199 says, hope you guys take a look at the documents posted. If you're talking about the Trex arms documents, yeah, I have them pulled up in another tab, so we will go over that and some of the contradictions between Lucas's video and the Trex video. It should be a good time. Chuck McGill, 69 for 189 says, well, would you look at the time? HPA N. Thank you very much, Chuck McGill, for the 199. Hope you're having a wonderful night, sir. Speaking of wonderful nights, Logan sucks at shooting for 499 says, dang, I'm the one who's gate and lay this time. Yeah, Uno reverse on you, sir. Thank you for the 499, good sir. And SV89 says, no refunds, MAGA chuds. HH, I don't know what he means by that. But, all right. Now, so you guys know Colin Noir. We recently talked about him. He came out with a video. Actually, let me pull up the video for you guys so you guys can see exactly what I'm talking about here. Colin Noir takes about 30 minutes to say nothing, but he can somehow manage to put in 3 or 4 ad spots in a 25-minute video, not including YouTube ad spots as well. So let me pull up this video. This was essentially a Springfield shill piece, I guess you could call it. So this video right here from one day ago, my home defense bedside gun setup in 2025. So one of the things in the video is a Springfield Echelon, and I think you might have mentioned the Cooner or a few other things that are in there. But in his description, I think Protraman sent this to me. It's so funny. So he left in the tag from the company. So he says, please confirm once it's updated to, right? Thank you, Brooklyn Bedding, for sponsoring. Visit this website to get 30% off of your mattress with code Colin Noir. So literally one of his handlers in his was like sending him a message like, hey, let me know when it's updated to X. And Colin or whoever works for him just copy and pasted it into the description along with the pinned comment. So it reads, please confirm once it's updated to ... Thank you, Brooklyn Bedding, which sells like $2,000-$3,000 mattresses. I don't know what these guys are doing peddling mattresses on a firearm video, although I guess it kind of makes sense in context because it's a self-bed defense video, except cringe. I think Paul Harrell has the only good bed defense video on the market. Yeah, I know he's not managing his own channel, but whoever he's paying to do so is so lazy and incompetent that they couldn't even cut out the request. Hey, please confirm once it's updated to. Just that's the level of competency you get with the Colin Noir gun channel. Colin Noir is the Black Ivy 8888. Never met a sponsor they didn't like. Yeah, let me see if I can find that bed sponsor actually in the video. That's got to be funny enough. Let me see. Oh, no, it was a Springfield Prodigy. That's right, which is a terrible, terrible 2011 that he is just shilling hard in this video with the bed in the background the whole time. Brooklyn Bedding. I wonder who owns Brooklyn Bedding. Can I see? There we go. Yeah, super comfy. Look at that. Back to the Prodigy. What else has he got on here? A Scar H, all right, or one of the short boys. and more bed. Like the whole video is just an ad for this bed company, right? But so lazy, so incompetent, couldn't even fix his title or his pinned comment or his description. Unbelievable. All right. Now, what we actually care about, what everybody is actually here for, is the T-Rex Arms response video that they uploaded within an hour of me scheduling this stream. And then Dank sent it to me on Discord, and I was like, this is just immaculate timing. Absolutely perfect timing. So why we've been quiet and the future of T-Rex Arms. And it is 20 minutes long with the 3 remaining owners and the CEO. So we will, this is your version of Sig's It Ends Now. Indeed, this is kind of the It Ends Today video for T-Rex Arms, though it is a little bit better. It is much better than Sig's response, but people are not happy with it. Sales are dropping. Let's make a video. 1v4 and Lucas still comes out on top. I see 4 clowns sitting together. It's a little rough. I can't wait to see Ben Stager's take on this video. Yeah, that's going to happen as well. You guys effed up. It's not a lot of positivity. I'm actually trying to find, oh no. I am trying to find a positive comment here. You continue to provide excellent fodder for an academic case studies on how to not respond to a PR crisis. That's harsh. Ben Stager gonna love this. Let me see. Company closeout sale when? The fake Psy founder. I'm trying to find a good one. Still time to take this down. Ouch. Here before comments get disabled. Now I'm stoked for Steger's next video. Yeah, it happens. Can't buy only unarmed owners in the group. How to get prenups. These comments are brutal. Paragraph guy here. Okay, just another scraped. Trying to find one. Lucas is T-Rex. You clowns are done. Wow. Don't mind me. It's Icon. I think Icon's currently in the chat right now. Don't mind me. I'm just here to downvote. Pushed out. Text. Yeah, it's and this goes on. We can just keep going down. And you know, worst acting I've ever seen. Ouch. Ouch. Yeah, it doesn't stop. It never stops. Daddy Botkin still claims to be part owner on his LinkedIn. That might actually be true. I'm not entirely sure about the owning structure, but at least publicly, it's these 3 on the right, David, and Isaac, and then this guy is the CEO. But we're going to go back and forth between their video and Lucas's video, because here's the thing. They contradict each other. So somebody is lying. Either Lucas is lying or these 4 guys are lying, right? Because the stories don't exactly match up. So that should be interesting to see if there are any repercussions for that and some of the claims made in this video. And again, T-Rex, if you wanted somebody to, if you were going to hire a PR company, I would have done it for a low dollar amount, and it would have come out much better simply by not putting this video out. Again, this is going to have the opposite effect because now people like me are talking about it again. Ben's going to talk about it. Everybody's going to be talking about it. And also, you implicitly called your brother a liar, which is not going to help the situation. It's not going to help. So, anything you'd like to say before we get into this video, Richard?
No, I'm pretty much done with all of it. I think that I think I've already decided who's lying in this situation. So
have you watched this video yet?
I seen parts of it.
Okay. Before we get into it, we'll clean up these super chats from before. Jay Lewis for $2 says Noors is 87 IQ, 0 individuality. I mean, maybe he's a nice guy, but I mean, he might as well just be a marketing mouthpiece for whoever is throwing coins into the back of the machine, right? Thank you, Jay Lewis, for the 2. Andy Cody says, no smoke alarm chirp. I know Richard missed the opportunity. We had a smoke alarm individual on the chat or on the screen, and he did not use it. Thank you, Andy Cody, for the 2.
Well,
It's so low. SV89 for 2 says David Botkin looks like the Coomer meme. He does kind of look like that Wojak, so that's unfortunate. Dog on a phone for 499 says the only positive comments are from employees. I'm sure they exist, but there's not many of them. There are not many. In a sea of how many? There are 2,200 comments already, and there's maybe a few, and they only have like 92 employees left or something like that. So not a lot. El Guapo for $20. Thank you very much, sir. On the Trex time, they posted Lucas and Isaac are removed from the executive team and the other non-owner execs added, but they never addressed why Isaac was removed from the executive team along with Lucas. That is a thing that they do in this video. They talk a lot, but then they don't say a lot. And they also miss out some really key elements of certain topics that you think they would want to address. And they simply don't. It's very strange. I thank you for the $20, sir. That was very generous of you. Ivana Gobble Your Knob Off for $2 says, that one David looks like a Hebe. Very suspicious. Well, which David? There's 2 Davids on the panel. But with that out of the way, I don't know why. I instinctively like videos just because I'm a nice guy like that. But
posted a video here on the main Trex Arms YouTube channel.
I'm sorry.
It's been a while now since we've posted a video here on the main Trex Arms YouTube channel, giving you information about what is going on in the company. There was an initial announcement, and now I think a lot of people have legitimate concerns about what is going on. There's a number of people that have jumped to some pretty extreme conclusions and have questions like, why is it that the other owners are still with the company?
So instantly, that is a much better response than the SIG response, because they address people have real concerns, right? With everything that's been brought up and alleged, people have real concerns, and we want to address those things. Unlike SIG, if they had come out and said, you know what, guys, the audience, you're the problem. Everybody who loves Lucas, you're a retard. That's what SIG did, right? Not what these guys did, which is much, much classier. So they're already doing a better job than SIG. And yes, we have Mark Dahl, CEO. Now, this is where it's a little interesting. David and David are listed as co-founders when they hopped on at least a year later, if not 3 years later. So while it might be technically true that when the business was drawn up, they're co-founders, but that makes it seem like they were on from the beginning when they weren't exactly. And then Isaac Botkin, who's also listed as an owner.
Why is it that Lucas is no longer with the company? And part of the reason for the delay is that we have been really thinking and praying about what is the best way to address some of these things. What is the best way for us to provide some facts and our perspective?
For years, we've tried to be a principle-based company that puts our principles above our profits and tries to do the right thing. And so if it was true that we had stolen the company, that would be a very big problem for you, our followers and customers, legitimately so. It hurts that this allegation has been made, and we believe we owe it to you to just lay things out so you can more fairly judge the situation. So Lucas Botkin first started making and selling holsters online in September 2013. I came on in February of 2014 as the first guy that really stuck with making holsters. There were some other people helped earlier, but I've been with Trex almost since the very beginning. And it was only a month later when I think I first had the idea of this thing could be a partnership. And that's when I actually first talked with Luke about it, over a year before we ended up signing a partnership agreement. A few months later, in July, David Noor joined the team and started making holsters. A lot of this was very collaborative, and we were helping out with a lot of different things. Even before I was a partner, I was doing the finances for Trex Arms. David Noor helped design the sidecar. My mom came up with the name. It was a family business in practically every single way. We operated out of the family garage.
Family tools?
Family tools. We used my guns. We all pitched in. It was on a family road trip that David Noor was along for the ride on that we really sat down for the first time and drew out what this partnership might look like. It was in a
So I have this pulled up as well, just to keep everything, at least as they're claiming it. So 2013, end of 2013-ish, Lucas Botkin begins T-Rex Arms. Early 2014, Lucas hires David Botkin, which is the gentleman that was just talking. And then Lucas hires David Knorr towards the middle of that year, right? And then it is not till the beginning of 2015, at least according to this timeline, which I would hope this timeline is accurate. If not, that's going to cause major problems for them if they were disingenuous or lied about this. And this is posted on their website, so this is public for everybody to see. And they tried to lay out everything as precisely as possible. So we'll see how much further this goes.
Restaurant in Iowa, and that's where we really started to wrap our minds more fully around this concept of the team being capable of doing stuff that individuals could never accomplish on their own. It was also around this time that Lucas started leaning on David and me to commit long-term to the business. We were doing a lot to carry the load. Luke recognized that, and he recognized that he needed our help. It was in February that we actually sat down and started writing the partnership agreement, what we've been discussing for months, and did it in an online collaborative text editor called TitanPad. And then in April, we actually signed the thing. At that time, it was 2 pages long. We had not hired a lawyer. Lawyers are expensive for a little tiny company. We just wrote in plain English what we agreed to. At the time we signed the partnership agreement, the company was doing about 2 or 3 holsters a day in orders. And it was basically a part-time gig for all 3 of us.
I mean, 3 people, 3 holsters a day, that's only $100 a day. Or per person, right? Because even if you're selling the holsters at $100, because I think that's what they were going for, around 80 to 120 bucks. It's, definitely part-time, super part-time. Like, I don't know how long it takes to make 3 holsters, but I imagine one person can get that done for the most part. So this stuff, while might be completely true, right? I don't have any reason to doubt this stuff, at least as of right now. It's pretty inconsequential to the main arguments that people have against T-Rex Arms and the handling of the Lucas situation. So when they say that they were working side by side very early on, that's all fine. We all agree with that. And Lucas himself agrees that the business drawing that they drew up together without any legal advice, right, was bad for him. And it was a stupid decision for him to sign away controlling interest very shortly on after the creation of his company, right? And so, and again, keep in mind that at this point, they're just helping build holsters. It's not like they came up with the idea or whatnot. It was Lucas's thing that he started. So these guys were essentially like helping hands that got, together like 60+% of the company, which is wild to think of. Like, if one guy comes up with a design and he's building something in his garage, I go to help him and we're just doing like menial labor. And then I draft up where I get 50% of the company or something like that. It's wild to do so. It was a mistake on Lucas's part. Hell no, don't ask a lawyer. Well, again, so that's where intention comes in. And the most charitable interpretation would be that they were all younger and naive, and it just happened to benefit them later on down the road, like 10+ years down the road, right? It just happened to benefit them, this kind of dumb mistake that was made early on. And Lucas bore the brunt of that bad decision, and they kind of benefit off of it, right? So that's whether, again, the intent is kind of irrelevant, right? I don't believe, I would find it hard to believe that they intentionally aggressively structured in a way to screw him out of the company, unless there's some sort of like internal family jealousy going on, right? That would be where it's like, well, Lucas started it, but I'm his big brother, I can do better, right? Because I think David is 10 years his senior, 11 years his senior, something like that. So like, oh, little brother started a company. Oh, it's a good idea, but I think I can do better. So me and my buddy David, we're going to take controlling interest of his company. I mean, that's an interpretation of events as well.
Now, in the interest of biblical transparency, since Truth and humility are core values here at Trex. We're going to be posting this document and a timeline of events on our website. If you'll recall, this is exactly what we did years ago with the plate carrier debacle. AC1s turned out to be AC Unos. We made a video explaining how we had made this mistake. But then we also posted documents on the website detailing how it happened and the receipts. So this is just the same thing again.
Going back to the document, one of the things that you should particularly look at in it is the partner responsibilities. Lucas Botkin doing branding, I doing financial management, and David Noor basically doing operations. We divvied up those responsibilities.
The Black Queen is doing dishes at the moment. I didn't think Black Queens did dishes. Maybe, but after. Oh man, that would be quite funny. Let me see here. So on the timeline, we can actually just take a look at this. So this is the April 3rd, 2015 version of the partnership. Let me blow this up for you, gentlemen. A little bit of inflation for you. So originally, after Lucas has received $50,000, okay, 60 distribution of profits. Recognize compensation, Lucas startup efforts, personal financial special distribution profits. Okay, so Lucas did get a higher amount of profits initially until he had made 50K in profit. So he wasn't given $50,000. He was just given a higher percentage of the profits, which is, I mean, not nothing, but it is nothing in the grand scheme of things now. David Botkin and David Noor shall get 20% each during this time. After Lucas has received his $50,000, or at another time agreed to by the partners, we shall move to compensation as follows. Lucas, 35, David, 25, other David, 25. The remainder, the other 20%, shall be distributed each month based on time invested in other than manufacturing work or based on taking responsibility for different aspects of the business. That's wild. Why would you ever say that? Weird. So it's like the other 20% is just up for grabs in this. This is crazy.
Yeah, something seems off.
Well, because it's like, so David and David get 50% regardless. And if they do anything, they get a chunk of that other 20% that's left, which puts them over half. So weird. Nadia Botkin, why is Nadia in here now? He or she entitled to half the profits normally served, i.e. Lucas Botkin, if inactive, would get 17.5% of profits. Nadia Botkin, if she was inactive, so Nadia was working on this as well? Or is that just like a hypothetical direction of the company? Partner responsibilities. Founding partner, Lucas Botkin, has primary responsibility and authority for all branding, the look of Trex Arms, and marketing, which Trex Arms, to be clear, was built off of the marketing and off of Lucas Botkin, right? No doubt about it. Including promotional imagery, social media, product aesthetics, etc. Josiah David Botkin has responsibility for all financial management. So his real name is Josiah. I don't know why it goes by David then. For all financial management related tasks, which shall include, but is not limited to, maintaining compliance, company books, calculating and dispersing profits, and compensation, etc. So one guy handled the books, which when you're making like $100 a day or $300 a day, pretty damn easy. As somebody who, even now with my business that I put like almost no time in whatsoever, like I make more than $300 a day. David Noor has responsibility for maintaining our inventory of supplies, parts, tools. Responsibilities that may be delegated by the partner shall include, but are not limited to, maintenance, cleanup, customer service, shipping, product R&D, manufacturer R&D, etc. All partners have authority to write checks and otherwise disperse partnership funds. Oh yeah, so here's the thing. Direction of the company. Lucas Botkin shall have 50%, which means the other two have 50%. What does that mean? So he does not have controlling interest of the company. It's equal interest, which is strange. Decisions that require all partners' consent, changing this agreement by adding new branches of business to Trex, any purchase above $1,000 other than consumables for manufacturing or shipping, any major business agreements, blah, 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 blah. So Lucas is already only half owner of the company at this point. Interesting. Phil's partner signed the three of them. And then, yeah, in April, they had a daily average of 3 orders per day for the first time. Which, again, if $100 a holster is $300 a day. Which is not you know, it's not terrible, but it's not sustainable for 3 people. It's very, very, very part-time. But you can see it very quickly 10x's within a year. All right, let's get back to the video. I'm kind of trying to follow along with these simultaneously.
And within a year, the company had 10x'd its orders. We were doing like 30, 40 holsters a day. We'd also started hiring our first team members that were non-owners. And that division of labor worked great. Luke went and did his thing. I did my thing. David did his thing. We worked as a team, and it was very, very successful. We were proving out the principle that the team could accomplish more than any individual could.
So growth was
He's more head than hair now. It's true.
crazy, super fun, 10xing in a year. We realized that we needed to bring in some automation. It wasn't going to cut it to be using the bandsaws and the drill presses for the long term. Also realized at the same time, David Bakken foresaw that a partnership with its liability exposure, we really needed to become a corporation. And so we sent off the partnership agreement to an attorney representing all 4 of us, Lucas, me, David, and then Isaac, who we were going to bring in to try to do this automation piece. And he put some documents together, trying to match what we had before.
Yeah, see, again, it's one of those things that they just kind of leave out, that they were already 50% owners of the company at this point. And that's before Isaac gets brought on. And then once Isaac is on, Lucas doesn't even have 50% say. So now he's a minority owner.
Brought it in, sat us all down in a room and walked us through it. And then we signed that.
So one of the points that Lucas has made is that he was naive when he signed these documents. And that's kind of fair. We were all naive. That's why we all recognized that we needed legal counsel that could represent all of us and represent all of our interests in helping us craft something that was really fair and balanced for everybody. So we had the lawyer come out. He walked us through the entire legal agreement. We talked about it. We made some edits. And it was after that, with all of us, that we signed.
Handcrafting doesn't.
Well, so the only T-Rex employees that watched this show is Lucas and the marketing guy, and Lucas took the marketing guy. So even if they're watching right now, they aren't working for T-Rex.
Scale well. When I started in 2014, it was taking us 3 hours to make a holster. And so at the kind of growth that we were seeing, that just wasn't sustainable, which is why it was so important to have Isaac come on. And we couldn't have afforded to pay someone at his level to bring in automation. But by giving him a stake in the game, he was willing to come and work and bring that capability to the team. And that allowed us to continue growing.
The other thing the automation did is it really helped the
Now, I want to know more about Isaac, because Isaac sounds like the brains of the actual production line, I suppose, because again, as they're talking about at this point, they're getting roughly 30 orders a day. Vintage, lost my train of thought. So the argument is we were also naive. Yes, that is the argument. We were all naive and we just kind of lucked out on the bad deal, and Lucas lost out on the bad deal, right? Which is the most charitable interpretation. So it seems to me like Isaac is the reason they were able to ramp up production. So what is Isaac's background again? Is he like a legit engineer or has legit production experience somewhere that he could actually take them to the next level in terms of actually being able to produce product, right? Because again, as they're saying, 3 hours a day per product. And according to their timeline in January, they're doing 30 orders a day, which if the math checks out, that's 90 hours of work in one day by 3 people, which is not possible unless I'm missing something.
Nope, I don't. Nope, physics.
Yeah, so I mean, I get that it's time consuming. Listen, if you have 3 people, or even there might have been a few other family members or friends helping out, 90 hours of work a day, that's a lot. That's a lot. I see you, Hook. Very funny. I can't pull that up on stream, but very funny.
the customer. We got higher quality product. We were making much more consistent holsters, and enabled us to keep up with this growth that God really sent us. I believe God started sending the company this growth when these guys started hiring people, sometimes before the growth had even showed up, to really take care of guys in our community, hire them, give them good jobs. And God did provide, and God provided customers buying product, but God also provided new team members, and the team grew in a lot of different ways. Not only do
Well, so Austin says 30 orders, not 30 shipments. Sure, but if you're getting 30 orders every day, and as they're saying, they're bringing on more people, so it wasn't just the 3 of them. They're bringing on more people at that point. At some point, your shipments have to match your orders. Who do you think you are? Aero Precision?
We have great collaboration, like we talked about earlier, but we also got people who had incredible skills. So Colonel Dahl was one of the very first people that I hired to make holsters on the very first CNC machines. But as a Marine colonel, he also brought a tremendous amount of leadership capability, which kind of freed us up in some ways.
Weekend Gunner says using God as a shield in a legal dispute is low. Yeah, I mean, some companies profess Christian morals or Christian adjacent morals, I should say, and they don't behave in appropriate ways, we could say. Vintage Warfare says, did God say screw your brother over too? You know, I mean, I think so. I'm going to be nicer actually than you guys are. I think there is an element of truth here to what they're saying, that when it was early on, when it was growing and whatnot, that things lined up in a very beneficial way, a providential way, you could say, for the company. Right. And when they were working together, they were blessed and grew as a company. Right. I think that can be fair to say, but things have not yet started to fall apart. And this is where, you know, that goodwill and that time that you spent building up your reputation kind of falls away.
To focus on better product design, but also some of the mission of the company, some of the ideology, some of the customer support, some of the stuff around Second Amendment issues. And that let us get into some political lobbying here in Tennessee.
The extra bandwidth that we had allowed areas of misalignment to start coming out. One of those was politics. Lucas was not on board initially with getting into politics. We believed that the rest of us believed that it was an important piece of our.
Let me just leave you with that image for a second. I want to say here. So the ownership team mutually decided to offer Isaac Botkin, already married, a 10% ownership stake to develop CNC automated manufacturing. The first CNC machine is purchased. Isaac begins working to earn his share via sweat equity in the company. Lucas, David, and David work out over the next few months that they will each give up proportionally to their prospective amount of shares, 10% worth of shares for Isaac, which means Lucas goes from 50 to 45, and David and David go from 25 to 22.5, right? But the problem there is that now combined with Isaac, they hold 55% of the equity in the company, meaning that Lucas might as well hold 0. As far as, you know, unless not including profits, he still gets paid out, but doesn't have controlling interest in the company and where it goes. In July of 2016, Lucas publishes his first T-Rex Arms YouTube video. Interesting. T-Rex Arms is restructured as a corporation to protect the owner's personal assets. Always a bad idea. And then Mark Dahl, who is actually the current CEO on the left there, he gets brought on as a CNC operator and ends up being the CEO. That is quite funny. Hires an attorney. Attorney work with them to answer all the questions, assist with edits, explain how shareholder agreement works. It just goes over all of the boring information. Okay, so we're back up to speed. January 2019, Isaac, David, and David get interested in political lobbying. T-Rex sends a team member to the Capitol during the 2019 Legislative Assembly, and we successfully remove Tennessee's special privilege tax on ammunition. T-Rex outgrows the family garage and moves to an old clothing factory building in Centerville's Industrial Park. So even when they were making big bucks, they were still working out of a garage, which is quite interesting. Now, that is the first disagreements, I guess, start happening in 2019 when Lucas says, ironically, we shouldn't get into politics in terms of financially lobbying. I wonder if that was a dad decision. Like, hey, kids, you guys are making a lot of money. You guys need to invest in political lobbying because their dad's been politically active and been a member of certain organizations in the past and whatnot. So I wonder if that was kind of the first wedge, so to speak. Family, politics, and business, the 3 things that just don't match, homies.
Yep. Toss in Thanksgiving dinner and you've got a perfect match for terrible things.
Steven Shreds for 189 says scrubbed by lawyers to the nth degree. I mean, the lawyers were probably just there looking out for everybody, quote unquote. So they were probably just like, hey, it looks legal. You know, this is what it's going to be like. Pat for 189 says, so they're given their response without responding. They're going to say a lot, and they do provide documentation in terms of their timeline. However, again, they kind of skirt over the most important issues, which we haven't even gotten to, and we're 8 minutes in the video. Like, we've gotten to the first point of contention 8 minutes into the video. Delaware X for 5 says, I'm telling you, we need the Yankee Marshal to make a top 5 sexual harassments by a gun company video. That's funny. His top 5 and top 10 lists are just so bad, just retarded. But that would actually be, that's a vintage video. Actually, vintage should make a top 5 sexual harassment claims in the gun industry. That would actually be very funny. JL Gonis for 189 says that video is a killer price month promo. A killer price month promo. Like a going out of business sale? Is that what we're saying? Thank you, JL Gonis. Dog on a phone for 499 says, how many subscribers have they lost since the first video they released? So they lost at least 60,000 because they were at 1.73 million. They're down to 1.67. So I think 60,000. So it kind of slowed down after a little while, which is as you would expect. Focus Trip's wife, how's it going, Anna? For 189 says, one of these is not like the others. Yes, one of these things is not like the other. Thank you for the 199. El Guapo for 499 says, all 4 of them look like people who stop at the first gas pump rather than pulling all the way forward. Now, that's just mean. I do hate that, though. I think there's a bit of unspoken gas station etiquette where you pull all the way forward so you don't block people behind you. But some people, man. Thank you, El Guapo.
I could go on a freaking half-hour rant about that.
Bro, in Florida, I don't even want to stop at a Florida gas station. You kidding me?
It's awful. Our stations have one spot in, one spot out, and then you have to navigate around the entire. It's so bad. You'll have one idiot blocking 27 cars.
Yeah, no simping for the Focus Trip wife, okay? All right? She's got much better things to do. She's also locked in the basement. Dog on a phone for 199 says, the 4 of them look like South Park caricatures. You know, that I was kind of thinking it's a strange lineup. 6 Hour for 49 says, on a family road trip to our grandfather's secret religious lair, where we're going to sacrifice another virgin. Man, all right. I mean, honestly, 6 Hour, that kind of sounds on par for you, sir. It's probably how Cohen got the job. Art Vandalay for 189 says, Cash and Christ made us do it. Oh, you know, I know they're going to get raked for it, but I do feel bad because I see a line of truth in what they're saying for sure. And I do believe that they mean it, or that they believe it at least. But when it comes to the actual issues at hand, it's not helping them. Chromosome Hoarder 199 says, can't tell if this is balding or malding. Why not both? Jay Lewis for $5 says, if you build in/lion for public opinion, don't glance down at your script every 5 seconds. There was a reason why Isaac was given the first response video, because Isaac is personable. Isaac is professional. Isaac can speak. Isaac has been making documentary type products since his early 20s, right? So at this point, I think he's in his early 40s. So he is a talented speaker, relatively charismatic. David and the other guy, not so much. So there is a good reason for them to have a script or an outline in front of them. I know it doesn't look good to us, but for them, it's better to know what you're going to say rather than sit up there and fumble and look, incompetent while you're trying to peddle your story, right? So it's a catch-22 for them. 6 Hour says, eeny, meeny, miny, mo. Which one of these 4 gets caught at a truck stop glory hole? First, I don't even want to know, but thank you. 6 Hour. Again, we're talking about gas stations. Absolute Moon Man for $2. Inflation, do you say? No. Nick for 5 says, to be honest, I believe them. I already watched the whole thing. I don't think they set out to rip off Lucas. I think that's the more charitable example, that they didn't set out from the outset to rip off Lucas, but it kind of ended up being that way. Right. So intentions aside, whether you think their intentions good, bad, or indifferent, I think it ended up that way, though. So thank you, Nick, for the $5. Hope you're having a good night, sir. JL Ganas for $4.99 says Black Queen's better do all the dishes or I'm going out for smokes. You know, I mean, black women are a good reason for some black men to go out for smokes. That's what I'll say. Thank you, JL Ganas. Coppertone 32 says Nor looks like he feasts on foreskins. That's just very unkind, Mr. Coppertone, but thank you for the $2. Chromosome Hoarder for $4.99 says they should be trying to save the family, not the company. Man, I do wish everything went down differently. And to be quite honest, Lucas was not going to make his video for like a month until Trex made their video, their initial one. So they could have avoided, again, they could just pay me a small sum and I'll tell them exactly what to do. And it's going to be 1 page long. It's going to have 1 word on it. It's going to say nothing, right? And I would have saved them at this point, maybe $1 million. But say la vie. Thank you, Chromosome Hoarder. Chromosome Hoarder again for $1.99 says, yeah, Isaac, lost all my respect. I mean, I think that he's still a very capable and competent person, right? Of course. But I think this is just a bad situation, right? This is a mistake that they are making. Ivana Gobblernabov says Nor looks like Smeagol. Yeah, he's halfway in between Smeagol and Gollum. It's a bad physiognomy. Chromosome Hoarder 69 says group prayer for Lucas and his family when? Well, we'll get into that. That's actually mentioned in the video here. Thank you, Chromosome Hoarder. And oh my gosh, you guys just won't stop. We're gonna have to keep moving on with the video, so we will come back to this though.
Company mission to influence the 2A space here in our state. Another one that happened later was he was uncomfortable with having voluntary prayer as part of company gatherings. And the rest of us believed that that was actually an important part of our core values, of our values as a company, to include that. And so he brought in some attorneys to try to convince us to not do that. Ultimately, they looked at what we were doing and said, oh, no, this is actually appropriate.
We've never wanted to talk about any area of.
Now that I don't know what he's getting at there. So he was saying that Lucas didn't want voluntary prayer at the stand-up meetings in a pretty Christian company. That just one of those things that just sounds odd. Like, why would you even put that in the video? Because that sounds like pretty easily that Lucas would just say no, or hey, that's not the full story. That's not what I said. It just seems like a really strange point to put in your 20-minute long video.
What if
also,
what if
no,
the
I
catch is
gotta say this. I
voluntary?
gotta say this. Okay, John Lovell comes out. He says, "Hey, a long video that's gonna be bad because it's gonna drive a sword through the other person." And here they're doing T-Rex is doing the exact same thing basically, which is just a little funny.
Yeah, that is.
No. Lucas didn't. He was disapproval of. Oh yeah, Lucas wanted mandatory. I see what you're saying. Yeah, Lucas wanted mandatory prayer. Yeah, no voluntary prayer, mandatory only. That's right.
And so he brought in some attorneys to try to convince us to not do that. Ultimately, they looked at what we were doing and said, oh, no, this is actually appropriate.
We've never wanted to talk about any area of disagreement between us or Lucas publicly, but here we are. And one of the most sensitive areas of disagreement surrounds the prenup situation. When Luke was moving in the direction of marriage with Kara, he recognized that he should have a prenup, and this was proving to be a challenging area of discussion between Luke and Kara.
Now,
Did he recognize it, or
that's not what Lucas said, though. Let me pull up the transcript here, because again, this is one of those areas where somebody's just lying, whether it's Lucas or his brothers. All right, so we'll get it here. 7 minutes in.
2022 timeframe that this is happening. But one of the first instances that occurred in the business that showed some inequality between the owner group, the 3 men, and myself and my wife, was right before we got married. I was getting a lot of pressure to sign a prenup. And the reasoning was good. You're going to marry this girl.
Right. So he says, I'm getting pressure, ostensibly from his brothers and co-owners, to get a prenup to protect them from Kara. And in this video, I mean, I say that Lucas recognized that he needed it, which it It seems like almost a lie. It is so close to being a lie. It's just framed in the complete wrong way.
In the direction of marriage with Kara, he recognized that he should have a prenup, and this was
He recognized it after we told him for like 6 years, or whatever it happened to be. After we berated him, he realized he needed a prenup. And then Lucas saying, "Oh, I got a lot of pressure to get a prenup from my wife, but they didn't have prenups," which we'll talk about in just a second.
proving to be a challenging area of discussion between Luke and Kara. And I had an idea that if we made it a company policy that unmarried owners, which would apply to Lucas and David Knorr, who at that time was also not married, if we made a policy that owners had to get prenups before they got married, that would give Luke support and back him up. I should have thought better through the ramifications of that and the way that would be received by Kara and all the potential for hurt feelings and wounds that could generate. And for that failure, I am very sorry.
But again, if we go back here, it sounds like it did not play out the same way.
And if you get a divorce, we may have to share equity now with this woman that we didn't originally sign up to run the business with. Very reasonable. So Kara and I talked about it, and she said, yeah, I'm willing to sign a prenup, but do they have postnups? And I said, no, I don't think they do. She had explained to me what those were. So she said, well, if they want you to do this so that they're protected from you, you should be able to have the same protections from them and their wives if they have a divorce. And I thought, pretty reasonable. So went to speak with my two brothers who were married. David Knorr wasn't married yet. And the conversation did not go well.
Yeah, it seems kind of like the opposite. So again, one of these people is stretching the truth in such a way that it's basically a lie, which seems strange. Because they're just ignoring the fact that they didn't want to get postnups with their wives, which is a little awkward.
I should have thought better through the ramifications of that and the way that would be received by Kara and all the potential for hurt feelings and wounds that could generate. And for that failure,
yeah, I was Agent Espo. I was told about the Wrangler Star video today where he quoted the Talmud in relation to the Lucas T-Rex arm situation. I've interacted with Wrangler Star a little bit in the past, but from everything I've been told about that video, wild take. So we might look at that at some point in the future.
I am very sorry. I had good intentions of trying to help and protect my brother, but good intentions are not enough.
Aside from the family issues that we have already discussed, I want to talk about more of a business issue concerning the allegation of Kara not having any follow-up on being hired. I was the director of operations at that time. I was coming into more leadership in the company after having worked here since 2017. And I did most of the hiring during that time of over 35 people in 1 year. I had help from the director of administration who had recently come in.
What's the matter, smooth skin? You never seen a ghoul before?
And together we screened and vetted and interviewed everyone that came into the company over the next couple of years. So in May of 2021, a board meeting was held where Kara's job description that she had written was presented to the board, which is something that is above and beyond what we would normally do. We looked at that job description, and it was basically, even though part-time, the responsibilities of what the chief operations officer was already doing in the company, as well as the director of operations. It was followed up a couple months later by the director of admin having 2 one-on-one meetings with Kara. And the result of that was that we had no position available. In fact, there was nothing in the company at that time.
Okay, so their side of the story is we had a board meeting about Kara, about the job, and there were 2 in-person meetings with Kara, right? Did I get that right? That's what they claim here at the 10-minute mark. Let me just pull up the transcript real fast. director of admin having 2 one-on-one meetings with Kara, and the result was that we had no position available. Now, what did Lucas say about this again? Because again, I think the 2 accounts are just different.
It wasn't until many months later that they did finally get post-nups, and they did apologize to me for the inconsistency of what was going on. But there were no apologies ever given to my wife, even after we had some third-party mediation. Another thing that came up was my wife was interested in working at Trex. She's a chemical engineer. We have a manufacturing process, and she figured there's probably some process things on the production line that I can assist with. I'll do it for free because now, I'm married to an owner. There's, why not build the equity? So she submitted a resume to the corporation, to Trex Arms. I recused myself from the discussion about, my wife getting hired, but nobody ever responded. The HR director didn't respond. The owners didn't respond. And that was very hard for us because one of the other owners' wives was currently employed at Trex Arms.
Right. So HR director responded. None of the owners responded. Versus, what was his exact line? Director of admin having 2 one-on-one meetings with Kara, and somebody's lying here. Like somebody's just straight up lying. Like, what do you mean? Nobody, because if Lucas is lying here or just omitting the fact that, well, she did have a couple one-on-one meetings with the admin, and it just came to the conclusion that her skills in chemical engineering were not relevant at this time to Trex Arms. Well, then that just kind of is what it is. So somebody's lying, right? But even with that, Lucas says that she would just work like a normal job there, like just be part of the business. And again, keep in mind that one of the other owner's wives, is also working with the company, and I believe it's possible the Botkin sisters have also worked at the company at some point or other, but that's not super relevant. But it's just, somebody's lying here, right? And I mean, if Trex Arms is lying and Lucas has a way to back it up, like it's just not going to work good when you're in the middle of a buyout process. And keep in mind that they are still in the middle of a buyout process. So calling the other person that you're in a buyout process with a liar, if it goes to legal proceedings, it's just not going to be good. Again, the best response to all of this was to say nothing until there is a signed agreement between you and Lucas for the buyout, right? He's gone. There's probably some sort of like NDA, don't talk about this or whatever it might be for 5 years. And then you just say nothing and you move on. But by putting out this video, you're essentially saying, Lucas lied about a bunch of things. Wild move.
That would fit a chemical engineer coming in part-time to do those things.
In 2023, with conflict between us and Lucas pretty stiff, we had a board meeting, and one of the things that come out of that was the creation of a CEO once again in our company. Lucas really lobbied for this really hard. He really wanted a non-family member being the CEO, and that CEO was empowered with full hiring, firing, promoting, and demoting capabilities. And Mark took it away.
Now that there's a weird construction. When I heard this in my mind, right, I was thinking, okay, so Lucas is like, damn, my 3 family members, because David is married to one of the Botkins, right? So my 3 family members are outvoting me on everything. I don't have any power here. But if we hire a CEO, right, then he can kind of take the power away from my brothers, I suppose, right? So there's like a silver lining here. We get a CEO who runs things, and I don't have to butt head with my brothers every day. But instead, the monkey's paw is that, well, you got your CEO, but now he also sides with your brother over you. So you lost your final say that you had, which is a little rough. And that's just a construction within my own mind. That is just something that I thought of, right? Why would Lucas want a CEO? Well, he's tired of having to deal with his brothers and fighting them. So he's like, okay, let's hire an impartial third party. That impartial third party sides with your brothers. And you're like, well, damn, that didn't work.
In, what was it, September 2023?
So we had been dealing for the past year. I'd been an officer in the executive leadership team. We'd been dealing with trying to get better functional behaviors and organizational health using Table Group for about the last year when they made me the CEO. And the behavior.
Dude, I love this corpo speak. I'm gonna rewind this back. I need this put up as a plaque somewhere. When I spank my child, like I need this line to be on the tip of my tongue.
Trying to get better functional behaviors and organizational health using.
I need better functional behaviors and organizational health within the company here.
In Table Group for about the last year when they made me the CEO. And the behaviors were not really changing as fast or as healthy as they needed to. And a lot of that revolved around unhealthy behaviors from Lucas concerning the way he treated people or didn't talk to people, his leadership skills and his lack of collaboration and communication with others, just basically not playing well in the sandbox. So when I became the CEO in October,
that's kind of belittling, and I wonder if Mark didn't like Lucas much to begin with. It's
That's what it sounds like.
Write the quote on your paddle. Yeah, what a great. I need more functional behavior modification process going on, and the behaviors weren't quite modifying as fast as they needed to, and so he wasn't quite playing well in the sandbox. Like, which kind of sounds like you're talking to a child. Like, you know, Bruce doesn't always play well in the sandbox. He's my 4-year-old son. But I wouldn't necessarily say that to one of the co-owners of the company. Now, Lucas has talked about his foibles before. And Lucas admits that he's not particularly empathetic, and he is very performance-driven, right? So, you know, if somebody is dilly-dallying or not quite getting it, I don't think Lucas has that much patience for that type of behavior. So he's probably is not the best at specific things, but he's very good at building a huge company, right? And he was kind of integral to that and all of the marketing for that. And it was kind of built off of his reputation. So, I mean, maybe don't push that guy out of your company. Maybe.
I made it very clear that I was going to be looking at the structure of the company, possibly changing, and that included the executive leadership team. So in Q1 of 2024, I actually removed Lucas from the executive leadership team. And
asks for a CEO to come in. It's instant regret. Gets asked to leave. Don't come back. You're off the executive team. Let me see if I can find that on the timeline here. All right. 2020 exclusive rising threats. There's rising conflict between the three brothers in early 2021. They all agree to add Lieutenant Colonel Mark Dahl and 2 other older men who have experience both as pastors and in business. I think they're talking about their dad, but they just don't mention their dad. Like they're like, their dad's like, bros, don't mention me in your company website. Because I think they're talking about their dad, because their dad is a pastor and has had many business ventures. So I think they're just leaving his dad out of it, which is interesting. Who's allegedly a co-owner on LinkedIn. Again, allegedly. Interesting. The job description born out part-time working for follow-up, right? Post-nuptial in December 2021. Mark Dole joins 4 owners as an officer with equal authority in day-to-day running of the company, traditional C titles. David Noor gets married and signs a prenup. A true empowered CEO. So in September 2023, the CEO position is created. Colonel Dahl is asked to fill it. Lucas drives this process, citing frustration with his brothers. So yeah, he wanted this position so that he didn't have to deal with his brothers, and they could have somebody to act quickly and decisively, unilaterally. You know, sometimes a strong man is needed to make decisions quickly. And then let's see. Lucas and Isaac are removed from the executive team and other non-owner executives added in early 2024. So yeah, as a CEO for about 3 months, and then Lucas gets the boot. And Isaac, although they don't cite why Isaac gets removed as a executive. It's possible it's not for a relevant reason. Maybe he just wanted more time off. Maybe he just wanted to spend more time with his family. Maybe he wasn't as interested in being on the executive board and he wanted to focus more on Trex Labs. Lots of perfectly fine reasons to not get kicked off, but it's just kind of odd they don't mention it.
And he seemed to think that that was not actually a bad idea. However, our relationship degraded over about the next 6 months, and it became very obvious that he was now not with me, but against me in what I was doing as CEO.
Now,
Well, yeah, after you kick him off of the executive board, he might be. He might not be happy with the way you're running the company, especially now that he doesn't have any say anymore. Very, very possible. After listen, after I removed Richard from his position and cut his paycheck, or I'm not saying that they cut his paycheck, but after I removed Richard, he suddenly was antagonistic towards me. It's like, well,
despite
maybe.
all of this, I really want to clarify something. The internet seems to believe that at this point we were forcing Lucas out of the company when we were really just trying to build something that would play into all of our strengths better. Exactly what these guys have been trying to do from the very beginning. It was Lucas who initiated this conversation about a buyout. In January of this year, at our board meeting, he came in and said he did not want to work with us anymore.
Well, so on a technical level, they did not force Lucas out of the company. However, they had taken controlling interest from him. They had voted him off of the executive board, and they had relegated his input in the company to marketing. So, I mean, he literally, it was him and one guy, his marketing director, right? And that was like the team, and it was them versus basically most other people there, right? And so, while technically not forcing him out, it's kind of like relegating them to the point where they don't feel like they're needed or wanted, so they just leave on their own. Now, this happens a lot in corporations, right? Where they're like, oh, well, we're not going to fire you, but we cut your hours in half. And so you're not going to be able to sustain yourself, so you'll quit on your own. Or we're just going to give you so much work that you're not able to accomplish that we can fire you for cause, or we're going to put you in a department where you're not suited, or all sorts of like evil corporate tactics to get somebody to leave or to relegate them to an unwanted position or something like that. That corporate entities tend to do, right? Which is why I never want to get that big. If I'm having to fight an executive board in my own company, at some point I'm like, nah, I'm out of here, dog. I'm out or you're all out. Like, I couldn't handle that.
He was either going to buy us out or we were going to buy him out. That was where he was at.
So, yeah, in the middle of this buyout, and that's when the images incident happens, March of 2020.
Okay, well, that's a good stopping point for right this second. We'll get to some of these. Absolute Moonman for 5 says, never hire the balding. They are lying to themselves. They will definitely lie to you. Rough. My dad is 77. He's turning 77 in a few days. Still got a full head of hair, man. I got good genes, so I'm holding out hope. Thank you, Absolute Moonman for 5. Something original for 613 says, when's the bare knuckle brawl? I'll tap in, bro. No cap. With your build, sir, I'm not sure I'd want to tap you in. I'd take somebody else over you. No offense. Fox up $5 says, which is more cringe, dude's atrocious hair, or they refer to some dude no longer in the military by colonel? I mean, it's like a title. I guess like major, colonel, general, it's like a title, right? It's like doctor. Even if you're not a real doctor or not a currently practicing doctor, you would still call somebody a doctor. It's a title, or professor, right? It's a title. It's fine. 6 Hour for 499 says, dude in the plaid is dreaming of being alone with some sheep. Brother, that's mean. Chromosome Hoarder 69 said, for 199 says, look what God did to that hairline. Oh no, with the Black Queen emoji. Absolute Moonman for $10 says, massive red flag when I get a Bible verse in a company email signature or hear God mentioned in a corporate setting. Always full of shit, to the point of blasphemy, to be honest. I wish a lot of these companies didn't give Christians a bad name. It just ends up happening, right? Because a lot of people use Christianity or any religion as kind of like a shield, right? When that's not the point. That's not how it's supposed to be used. But a lot of people do unfortunately twist it to be that. So I get your point. But Trichicon, Super Base, they send Bible verses on your optics. Thank you, Moonman, for $10. Art Vandalay for 189 says, Noor built like the terrorists in True Lies. That's just mean. Thank you, Art Vandalay. Subarctic Psycho says that dude is This is turning into a hate fest. Steven Shreds for 199 says, I meant this video/script has been scrubbed. Oh, totally. I mean, again, I would just wish they would spend a little bit more time actually going through it all, or make it simpler, or make it more, compelling. 6 Hour for 499 says, well, to their credit, they're obviously pro-life. Look at what they saved from a Planned Parenthood. God damn, Sig, that's wild thing to say. Somebody got to take your credit card away. Art Vandalay for 189 says they look like Kia Soul owners. True. At least 2 of them drive Kia Souls. I feel it. I don't even have to check the early life anymore. I can feel it. Perlin Bacher for 20 sec. Don't know what that is. Just watched the whole video. Soulless dudes. Yeah, it comes off like, you know what charisma is. If you look at the definition of that, right next to it's like a black hole, and that's where that video is. But thank you for that, sir. Nick for another 5 says, Lucas was constantly on the range or in the armory. How would he ever have time to grow the business? There's more to business than just marketing. Well, I think it's important to remember that that's kind of what they wanted him to do, even in their own words, right? They were like, well, everybody has to play to their own strengths. You're good at marketing, so we're going to push you over there. When remember, Lucas was integral to a lot of the nylon, which was integral to some of the growth at Trex Arms, not to mention starting the company and other things, right? So Lucas is good at a lot of things. Maybe not so much of a team player, but he's good at a lot of things, right? So if you lose him from the company, and especially in a very public way, it's just not a good move. Balls Nasty for $2 says T-Rex can win by leaking the pics. Nope. People keep asking. I'm keep saying no. C2 for 2 says the biggest L both sides took was not signing an NDA. They were just naive. Yeah. Would have saved them a lot of trouble, though. Thank you, C2. Huge Ass 49 says they look like they're sucking his tampons. That's disgusting. John Shepard for 5 says Lovell asked his audience if Israel was a friend. The poll said no. He later lied about the results. Very Christian. Well, listen, if you hold something diametrically opposed, like Judeo-Christian values, which is a meaningless statement, it's like I hold Satano-Christian values. It's like one of those things is not like the other, good sir. So being two-faced or of two minds kind of goes with the territory. But thank you, John Shepard, for the 5. Jay Lewis for 5 says, I decided Lucas was incorrect in my dreams. True. Ancestral blood memories. It is what it is. Oh, God. They look real. True. Yes. Came to me in a vision, good sir. Chromosome Horde at 69 for 49 says they keep using her first name, starting to sound like a threat. It is a weird phrasing. It's like when Lucas was moving in a direction of marriage to Kara. Do you mean dating? Like what a strange frame. What a strange phrase. Thank you, Chromosome Order. 6 hour 49 says, Lucas, sign here. Lucas recognized his need for a prenup. Indeed. Zephon for 2 says, Lucas, the only one to unlock the Botkin twink gene. I mean, Isaac's tall and skinny too. He's towering over me. Isaac Moonman, or sorry, Absolute Moonman for 2 says, I was promised focus. Where is it? It's never coming from me. It might get leaked by another source, but it is never coming from me. Ivana Gobbler Navot for 2 says $5 he mentions being a Marine. Well, actually, I think they cut out that part of his script, so that's not in there. Huge Ass for 499 says, don't all these guys' wives have nothing jobs on the payroll for being married? Again, you could say that, but I don't know. I don't have any internal recollection or understanding of what they do there. So maybe they do something really important. Who knows? Or they just, work in a generic job and collect a paycheck for the family. Also possible. Joe Tenney for 10 says Lucas is a visionary, but the less charismatic guys made the dream happen. All made T-Rex is what it is. Lucas said he isn't starting another factory because it's not his skill set in his What's Next video. Well, right. So that is what Isaac is good at. Like pretty objectively, Isaac was good at getting the production actually rolling. However, Lucas is like, I don't need the production. Other people already make that. I'm just going to take my designs, which are what he did at T-Rex, right? And I'm going to take those to somebody else rather than starting my own factory, right? Because he doesn't want to deal with all that noise. He probably didn't enjoy it. He probably has a really bad taste in his mouth from working with his brothers. And so I think it's much simpler for him just to go to another manufacturer and be like, hey, you make this for me now. Here's money, make this product to my specs, please. So I think it is simple for him. And I think it is fair to say that David, and Isaac were instrumental in building the company. However, the company wouldn't exist without Lucas. So, it's not to downplay any of their roles. It's just sad that it's happening out. The fallout, well, how should I say this? It didn't have to end this way. That's what I'll say. It didn't have to end this way.
25. And in our last video, we were what we chose to say and what not to say. We left the door open for confusion and disappointment, and we're sorry for that.
Yeah, that first 2-minute video was a mistake, a huge mistake.
And that's when the images incident happens, March of 2025. And in our last video, we were what we chose to say and what not to say. We left the door open for confusion and disappointment, and we're sorry for that. Here's what happened. A now former team member sent a sexually inappropriate webcomic to Lucas.
Keep in mind that the former employee was the son of an executive, which they keep not mentioning. They continue to not mention that in this video.
A now former team member sent a sexually inappropriate webcomic to Lucas's wife. When Lucas brought this to leadership's attention, we immediately suspended the guy and began investigating. And that kind of conduct is not acceptable, and we don't tolerate it here at T-Rex Arms. Our sympathies also for
kind of, right,
for Lucas and his wife. No one should be on the receiving end of unwanted.
Now, to be clear, there are 2 other executives, so it might not be anybody on this panel. It could be David, or Mark's son. It could be. I'm not saying that it is, but there are also 2 other executives. Now, what's funny is if it's true that one of the other executives is the father, then it could be one of the brothers as well, which is another awkward layer to the whole thing, because if it's your father's son, then it's your brother, whatever.
Sexual material. During the investigation, the guy stated that he had tried to share the images from social media to himself, and he thought he had sent them to his own iMessage. It was on a personal device at home. Intent is very hard to prove.
So the story is still that I think Brandon has kind of had a different story when he was on the show. He said that he had 2 devices and he was trying to share it from one to the other. But this one is trying to share it from social media on one phone to himself, like to his iMessage, or is there still 2 devices in play? And then somehow gets sent to Kara instead, right? And it's, attach 3 images, click share, to your recipient or whatnot, click send after that. It's a lot of things to trip, fall, and accidentally send furry porn to your to your boss's wife, right? It's just an awkward turn of events.
But all of the evidence was consistent with it being an accident. There was no pattern of harassment or solicitation. And the decision that was made was to suspend him without pay, put him on probation for 18 months, and ban him from any further contact with the victim. We later ran this by an employment attorney.
So again, they punished him, right? So you're on probation for 18 months. So just don't send furry porn to your boss again in the next 18 months. And you'll be fine. Again, this is also the son of an executive, which they continue to not mention.
And their verdict was what we did was reasonable, and it was designed to prevent anything like this from happening again in the future. However, after the fact, Lucas began spreading the team member's name among other team members.
So I'm willing to accept that the lawyer thought that it was a fine move. However, just in general, I think if it's a layperson that does this, even if you take it at their word that it was purely accidental, even though there might be some other contributing factors there, if it was purely accidental, I think you still fire the guy. Like, it's just, I have never worked a job ever where if I had sent the owner's wife an explicit image, I would not have been fired and or dead during that. So what a strange thing, right? And this is where again they admit, and they're about to admit again, that they handled it incorrectly.
And he is no longer with the company. We fell short in not going a little slower and getting more counsel. Lucas asked us to run it by an attorney at the time, and we didn't do that. I wish we had in the low.
Oof. Oof. Yikes. So again, when Lucas says that, hey, I don't think these guys were taking me seriously at all, like they're in agreement with him on that. He asked us to look into this, to hire a lawyer, to, get clarification on this. And we just said, nah, bro, it's fine. All right. All right.
To run it by an attorney at the time, and we didn't do that.
No. The employee quit. They did not fire the employee. The employee quit. I want to be clear. The employee was still working after Lucas left the company. I think by 3 or 4 days. So the employee quit after Lucas quit. He lasted longer than Lucas did at his own company after sending the wife free porn. A bit awkward.
I wish we had in the low trust environment that had developed. It would have made a lot of sense. Would have been wise to do. The Bible actually says in many advisors there is safety, and so we did fall short in that. If we err in handling misconduct,
they open themselves up for so much criticism when they bring it back to the Bible, because it's like, it's just bad. I already know what the chat's going to say.
It is with
obvious.
The goal of showing grace and being restorative. And that was the heart in what we were trying to do in this situation.
Going back, I don't know, 12 years or something, we used to have a motto that we used in this company, which was everyone goes home happy. Sort of like the golden rule, only turned up to 11. One of the things that became obvious was that there was just no way Luke was going to be able to continue being happy at Trex working with us. And so we, in good faith, engaged with the negotiation process and explored that. And he sent offers, counter offer, went back and forth. And when we considered it, and we considered the mission that we were on, and we considered the commitment that we made years ago to this mission and building this company, and to all the people that we'd hired over the years, and all of their families, and our desire for all of them to get to go home happy at the end of the day, we ultimately concluded that while it might be possible that the buyout situation and like staying in the company, buying Luke out, while it might be painful and dangerous, we felt that's what we had to do for our team members.
Yeah, we could have walked away with a payout, but the team and the mission is what mattered more. During the buyout negotiation, David and Isaac and I were getting together with our wives in our homes and just praying. And we thought back to the early days and that first employee that we hired, and how God then blessed our heart to provide great jobs right here in our local area. And Lucas at the time was saying things like, he was going to get rid of 5 out of 7 executives and 10% of the staff, not like a specific 10%, but just because there's always 10% that are underperformers is his idea. And so we just realized before the
it's like, it sounds nice, but then you throw in, Lucas was about to fire a bunch of people that he felt were underperforming. So in order to save those people, we decided to say, no, bro, actually you're leaving the company, not us. And again, it's like little jabs, right? Even if it's not implicit, it's little, or if it's not explicit, it's a little implicit, right?
Lord, we needed to stay for the mission and for the team. And so that's what we're doing.
I firmly believe that back in the early days, the company never would have gone anywhere without it being a partnership with all 3 people in there with their different skills and abilities and giftings. But that's a long time ago. And that's when the company was only 3 people. We're close to 100 people now. And no one person is indispensable anymore. And that's the other thing. This company is not really even about us or the people here. You guys are almost as much.
Now, this is just my own personal thing, Man, do I hate corporate structure. It's so impersonal and unnatural. It's just this almost by design evil entity, and it almost always heads to entropy. Like, I just hearing the way that they talk about it, like it's just this, yeah, existential being or something like that that must continue, even though the it's just a husk, right? It's a corpse. The people inside have all changed or whatnot. It's, I don't know. I just, there's something about it that I dislike.
Of the company as we are, because it's your support, your purchases, your online viewing, that really build this company up and make it what it is. We have a common mission that we're all on board with, you and us, and we're all still committed to that, even though Lucas is going in a bit of a different direction, but probably still doing a lot of the same stuff.
Yeah, we're still on mission. But as we sit here today, there is a lot of grief. We've had a lot of reason to think back to the early years and to the times when we were just firing on all cylinders, working side by side, Lucas, David, Isaac, and many others on our team as well, including Colonel Dahl. And so there is just, yeah, I mean, I had this vision for Isaac, David, and Lucas, especially, all that they could do working in unity. And that part is now dead. All our hearts, though, are still for reconciliation, and I still believe that is possible. Actually, last year I asked Isaac and David and Lucas to go to a family counselor together, and Isaac and David were willing. Lucas turned that down, but I think I can speak for the guys here. That offer is still on the table. They're still willing, and it always will be.
Whatever Lucas
It's kind of weird because I have a big family as well. I've talked about this before. I have 8 brothers and sisters, right? And if there was a, like, hey little bro, you need to come to our family intervention for you, where we have all the power over you regardless of how this goes, man, that would be tempting not to go to, right? It's like, well, is it going to change anything? No, but I'm not going to waste my time. I don't know. Sounds nice in practice. Does it actually work out? Who knows?
goes to build, whatever companies or products he develops, we know that they're going to be cool, but we're staying here with Trex. And I want to thank all of you guys who are with us and have been emailing us to let us know that you're praying for us and that you're still on board with this mission. You're still passionate about a Second Amendment company that builds things for the people that the Second Amendment was written for, the citizenry. We're still passionate about building this citizen defense industry, something that reindustrializes America and provides great jobs, but also really good made in America stuff for those serious citizens. These are the things that we really care about. These are the things that we are committed to as our core values. And it's because we're committed to you.
Never. Focus Trip Fly for 199 says never trust the NSYNC group nod. Yeah. Well, it all sounds nice, right? The corporate message, the plan going forward, the direction of the company, it all sounds nice, right? Except for the ousting of their previous employer, or the previous owner of the company, the person who kind of helped build the company and whatnot. It's all that stuff, and the disrespect, and calling Lucas a liar, and maybe Lucas is lying, right? Maybe Lucas lied about a lot of stuff, right? Possible, because somebody's lying, because their stories contradict each other. So between Lucas and Trex, there's a difference there. And if you're going to make those claims in a public setting, I hope all of your ducks are in a row, I suppose. Rough. What are your thoughts, Richard?
Yeah, it was too corpo for my likings. I think it was too little, too late. I think the damage is already done, and I don't think this timeline statement is going to make a difference for anyone.
Yeah, I mean, they keep reigniting the flame, right? after it dies down for a couple weeks, they're like, oh, now's our chance to restoke the fire. Let's do it again, guys. Leading the buyout, Lucas had signaled that if he bought the other owners out, he would remove 5 out of the 7 executives and 10% of the other team members. With this context, David, and Isaac prayerfully decided not to sell. Right? Because Lucas was going to take over the company. Because again, if Lucas bought the company out, essentially the other 3 owners, an insane amount of money, if he paid all of them, he would clean house. And he's like, well, this wasn't my company for a long time, but now it is again. The last buyout offer is emailed from Isaac, David to Lucas, and Lucas goes silent. Send an email to Lucas suggesting 5 options moving forward, including crafting a better position for Lucas in the company, finding a third-party buyer for his shares, or letting him keep his shares while going to work on his other companies. May 28th, Lucas hands in his letter of resignation. June 7th, Lucas posts a video entitled Why I Could Be... Yeah, but then they miss one. They miss one here. Right? Because in between here, Trex Arms puts out a video. Why'd they miss that one out? Why'd they leave that out? Because Lucas's video is in response to that video. I didn't even realize they left that out. They're missing a dot. Trex, you're missing a dot, good sir. You got to talk about your video that you put out first. And then Lucas's response video, why I quit my company at Trex Arms. That's awkward because Lucas wouldn't have put that out if you guys hadn't made that video. That's an awkward omission. June 27th, this timeline is published in hopes of providing greater clarity for those interested and to ensure we live in our values of truth and humility. There's nothing like a corporate statement asserting your humility. That's a thing. All right. Stealth for $2 over on Rumble says, a lot of the times when family business gets like this, factions form, and whichever faction is bigger... ... That's kind of the way that it appears, unfortunately. Huge Ass for $4.99 says, body language screams, it's not a lie if I believe it hard enough. I mean, if there was a body language expert that wanted to go through some of this stuff here, there is some, there's some odd looks, some downcast moments in there for sure. Some weird sighs and random looks here and again. The I'm sorry moment is quite interesting to me from David. Thank you, Hugh Jess, for the $4.99. Noob Actual for $4.99 says the allegations of Lucas's fireable offenses need to be addressed. Yeah, they also don't talk about that. Although that might be another wise move to be very careful about what the allegations are there, because if they say, oh, Lucas did XYZ in the middle of a buyout and they don't get all their facts straight, and then Lucas uses that as leverage against them, very careful. Mrs. Noob, awesome. Watched for a bit and says hi. Well, hello, Mrs. Noob Actual. Hope you're having a wonderful night tonight, and congratulations on your poor choice in men. But, you made a very lucky man. Jay Lewis for $5 says his neck thinner than my thigh, yet he looks down on cameras. Ugh. Pat for $4.99 says, as a kid, my dad made me spell out honesty, discipline, and respectful as I got a beating. Now that's hardcore. I never had to spell anything out when I got spanked. Huge Ass for $4.99 says, how long until Trex Arms starts using pride branding on their products in a desperate bid to become relevant again? They're never going to do that. And again, whether you believe that they're in the wrong about this situation or not, I believe that they're still going to perform in the same way that they have in the past. They're just going to be missing that X factor, that marketing pizzazz that they had before, right? Because let's face it, whatever guy that they have doing their marketing and video material, it's not going to be as good or as interesting to the average viewer. It's just not.
No.
Senior Spielbergo for $1.99 says, who needs enemies when you got family? Yeah, sometimes. Gabriel Baker for $1.99 says, are we sure David Noor is married to a woman? I got to stop leaving it on him. I feel bad. There we go. Okay, there's all 4. You're fairly certain. Thank you, Gabriel. William Nipper for $1.99 says, why am I here? It's well, you have a credit card and you must super chat, good sir. I think the title of the book. Thank you for the $10, sir. Very generous of you. Absolute Moonman for 5 says, I hate when my relatives leave a bad taste in my mouth. Yep. Phrasing was a hard part of that conversation.
They must be from Alabama.
Absolute Moonman for 10 says, intent is very hard to prove. If it's furry, that's the proof of intent. Nobody is a furry incognito. They are always loud about it and want you to know. Well, I don't know any furries, Absolute Moonman, so I guess you would know better than I would. But I mean, surely it's just an ethics violation at the company. Like, even if it was accidental, you don't need the intent. It's like if you accidentally flash somebody at work. It's like, well, it doesn't really matter if it's an accident. It was an ethics violation, and sorry, bro, you got to go. It just is what it is. Jay Luther 5 says, ain't grown chest hair by 12? Twink. Guy who grew chest hair at 12. Yeah. Thank you, Jay Lewis, for the 5. Subarctic Psychos for 5 says, some a-hole was tailgating me while I was going 5 miles an hour over the speed limit. You hate to see it. I let him go by. I tailgated him. Now I know where he lives. Well, if there's one person I wouldn't want to know where I lived, it would be Subarctic Psycho, let me tell you. But thank you for the 5, sir. Happy hunting. 6 Hour for 4.99 says, so what you're saying is, being a Marine colonel does not translate into skills needed to be a CEO of a holster company. Well, I think he had some leadership skills. I think that's pretty obvious. I mean, he definitely, didn't interact well with Lucas, whoever's fault that might have been. But he probably had some decent leadership skills, I would say. Thank you for the 4.99. Focus Trip's wife, hello Anna, says, Chat GPT, give me all the Bible verses that make me sound honorable. Yeah, no quotes from Scripture, other than one partial quote of a Bible verse, where it says, in the presence of many counselors, there's wisdom, or something like that. They didn't even give the verse for that. Unbelievable. Thank you, Anna. SV9 for 2 says, God told us not to sell Lucas his company we took. Anytime you bring Christianity into it and you don't cite your sources and you don't line your ducks up in a row, it's going to be used against you. Thank you, SB89. Ragin for 5 says, there is no way this guy is serious. I assure you they are very serious, and they are going to have to hand Lucas a very serious chunk of change. Thank you for the 5. Absolute Moonman for 5 says, WTF, they have a mission. Are they also trying to stop Makarov with Captain Price? Dude, I wish. I was playing Modern Warfare 2 again the other day, the one from 2009. Such a good game. They don't make them like they used to. Thank you for the 5. Jay Lewis for 5 says, his skull is not Homo sapien. My Cro-Magnon genes have activated. Doggo less fire. Nice. Thank you, Jay Lewis. Focus Trip's girlfriend for 189 says, hey, babe, we doing less tonight? No, you are going up for sale tonight. Probably for 199. My offense piece for 199 says, no way, John. I have 7 siblings. Do you? My offensive piece. We got something in common, bro. Chromosome Hoarder for 69 says, 199 says, AI baby edit of this coming? That would actually be funny to run this through some sort of AI for something else. That would actually be good. S59 for 5 says, to everyone dick riding Trex in the chat, what is your motivation for doing so? Questionable that I've never seen these usernames in the chat before. Yeah, no, I'm happy to stay here and hang out and interact with the chat for a moment or two, and I want some opposing opinions. Actually, if you have a directly opposing opinion in the chat and you want to come on and argue with us and give your perspective, I will be happy to oblige you, good sir. El Guapo for 499 says, curious why Brantley, Miriam, and former marketing officer Josh Glover felt compelled to leave Trex with Lucas. Well, the marketing officer worked directly with Lucas, and Brantley came on because of Lucas, and probably for a venture that Lucas pushed for, right, with the Trex training channel. So Lucas was the only reason to be there for these guys. And so once Lucas was gone, they're like, well, he's our boy. We're leaving. That's how it goes. Okay, so who is going to step up to take the opposing opinion? That's what I want to know. All gun to his ass. You want to come on and argue with me? Vintage Warfare, we'll let you on. You can Kodiak's in the chat. Yeah. Get in there and fight. Shooting the Shit Podcast 49 says nothing. Kodiak and Nick, I am happy to have you guys on. I talk to Nick all the time. Thank you for the 199, good sir. Oh, of course, yes. Thank you for sending me that, Richard. Kodiak. Well, yeah, I mean, I'm happy to have you on. You want to talk the opposing side, just send me an email, and I'll send you a link to get on. I'm happy to hear dissenting opinions. Somebody's got to run T-Rex Arm Defense. We are going to have T-Rex Arm's greatest defender on the show in just a moment. I think Lucas Fishianam says, I think Lucas was in the wrong. TBDAESU. Stolen screen name says, I'll come on, but I'm just going to yell racial slurs. Yeah, you know, that's one of those things that we would probably have to put the kibosh on.
So you want me to go ahead and invite Vintage?
Yeah, you can let Vintage on if you want.
All right.
I'm not looking at the chat. Actually, shoot, people have been messaging me a lot over here. Let me take a look at all this. Yeah, I saw Copper Customs got shot at. Got Nick. Okay, hear me out. Did kind of reaction to the Martin takes film down. Maybe. Let me see. Lucky one. Oh, meet and talk to all the others. Weird. Understood. Interesting. Thank you, Lucky One. I'll read that a little bit later. That is actually funny. Let me pull that up. Oh, come on. You can do it. All right.
I don't see anybody who's really saying that they disagree.
Yeah. Not a lot of, I mean, apparently there were a lot of T-Rex Arm sweepers in the chat, but yeah, for Trench is not going to side with T-Rex. Not at all. Not going to happen. Yeah, Copper Customs got broken into today. There was a shootout at Copper Customs, which is what do we call that? It is Mac's store that he co-owns or something like that, even though he claims to have no relationship with them. Sus. Chuck McGill wants to defend T-Rex, yeah?
He lives over an hour away. Has nothing to do with the store itself.
Oh, here we go. Starfish Prime just says, Focus Trip, I just want to know why you're bending over for Lucas and 100% believing his side of the story when he's got a huge track record of lying about way more minor stuff. See, that's what I want. You want to come on and discuss it with me? This will be great. Fantastic.
Oh, I was hoping we could go on about the Copper Custom things for another minute.
I'm gonna be honest with you, Richard. I don't care at all. There was a shootout there. Nothing happened.
I just wanted to be able to play the
Do you like BBC? Perhaps have an affinity for ladyboys and SIG firearms, but don't have time to go to SDI? Don't work on your own gun? Send it to us so you can watch us work on it. Here at Cucker Customs, the premium place to meet other out-of-shape, middle-aged men.
That's all.
Oh, no. I hope nobody clicked on that. Damn! I hit the wrong button.
What did you do?
Okay. I accidentally, for like a quarter second. Oh, Night Fighter's here for 5, says, buy a Night Fighter bandolier. Bandolier NFG gear. Yeah, Night Fighter makes bandoliers, which is a nylon product. You don't even have to buy it from T-Rex Arms. You can buy it from Night Fighter. If you buy it from Night Fighter, because he gave me $5, you could buy a bandolier from Night Fighter. Thank you very much, Night Fighter. I appreciate it, John. Too many Johns. Yeah, let's all join the podcast. No. But yeah, what was the username in there? Starfish Prime. Starfish Prime, sir. Send me an email. I just put the Discord link in chat for you. But send me an email at focustrip@gmail.com. You're already here, and I will send the invite link directly to you. Okay?
If he's in Discord, he can also DM me or
yeah, DM Richard Cranium or Slim Slime Slum on Discord. That's me, and we will let you in. Starfish Prime is going to defend T-Rex Arms honor. Josh for 5 says the tech side of things that was ran by Emma Royds also left the company. Interesting, Emma Royds. I don't know if that's related or separate, or she just decided I didn't want to deal with this family drama anymore. Because yeah, for the layperson working there, you're like, okay, the owners are fighting and they're all brothers, and then there's this other dude, and then one of them leaves, and the other guy sent the other person's wife furry porn. Like, maybe I'm just not working here anymore. Ivana Gabayarnaba for 2 says, I can be trusted to come on stream. Trust me, bro. I am normal. You can trust me with weapons. Probably not Ivana Gabayarnaba for 2, but I appreciate it, sir. Huge Ass for 189 says, Copper Customs was an inside job by Mac. Possibly. Discord not letting me accept. Starfish Prime, just send me a email.
No, I see him here in Discord. All he has to do is open his Discord and accept the invite.
Yeah. So just send me an email, focustrip@gmail.com. I just put it in the chat, Starfish Prime. All you have to say is, yeah. Chill for you for a 5R. What? Copper Customs was an inside job by Mac. Yeah, it's actually Mac who got shot in the shootout, trying to steal the last SVD. That would be a funny meme. Coppertone for 189 says, shameful that Orion Concepts, I believe you mean Orion Training Group, OTG, shills lead and steel. Yeah, they also are another one of those really Christian companies, forward facing, that also, you know, hires a porn star to do their marketing, and also sells $80 field Bibles, or one of the owners sells $80 field Bibles. So you know, it's just one of those things. If you're going to use it as a shield, then be prepared to have it used as a sword against you. Chuck Dangle for 499 says, Papa Focus blessed us with a stream. It's, you know, honestly, don't thank me. Thank T-Rex Arms. Go watch their video. All 19 minutes and 40 seconds of it. Great watch. Fantastic. They blessed us with this wonderful content tonight. Thank you, Chuck, for the 5. Greatly appreciated. Good sir. Has Starfish Prime says, I'm here. Is he in?
He's in the Discord, but he has not accepted the DM yet. I don't understand if he doesn't understand how Discord works.
Well, I'm sending him the invite. All right, Starfish, I have sent you the invite directly. You just accept the invite and you'll be in here and we will talk. Just a Gun Guy for 2 says, I'll come in and talk about random crap. Well, you know, it's a Friday night, so that's usually what we do, is just talk about random crap, to be honest. Yeah, content so wonderful.
Vintage said he'll be
Kook is in here. Yeah, it's weird because it's like we want reconciliation. Also, Lucas did XYZ really bad, you know. It's weird. I hope you're having a good night, Kook. Starfish shaking. We'll see. I don't see it. I literally just sent it to you. I have you joined the Discord. I sent you a DM on Discord with the link. All you have to do is click it. Now, you might need to accept the DM, which is going to go to your DM section in Discord, and just click the link. Or, like I said, send me an email, focustrip@gmail.com, and I will send you the link there as well. This dude must be older than me. We'll see. You never know. The Coup Club, you can get on the stream. Actually, because you were a Lucas hater, so you might be interesting to get on tonight if you want. On. Night Fighter for 189 says, I hate the gun community. What community are you referring to, good sir? We are a loose collection of individuals that do not make a cohesive whole. Good sir. Focus is getting trolled. Maybe we're just going to sit here all night waiting.
Well, he has 2. Oh, you probably can't hear me. He has 2 separate accounts on Discord, and I'm trying to get him to accept on one of them.
Yeah. I mean, come on, Night Fighter. Oh, hey, Night Fighter's in the server now. Awesome. I'm gonna VIP you. Night Fighter gets VIP roles. How about that?
Sounds good.
That's John over at Night Fighter. He's buddies with Cody.
Which John?
Dude, there's sorry, wrong button. For some reason I thought you were off, so I was bringing you on. Yeah, way too many Johns. Way too many Johns.
Yeah.
All right. Peon a 320 for $5 on the Rumble side says Mac is a Siga. Red right hand in the chat says put John on. I'd love to, but Starfish Prime 1962. I'm trying to get you on, good sir. I'm trying to get you on. Starfish Prime. Get in the circle.
I got him.
Is he going to click the link?
He's at least on now.
Okay. I mean, I can. I don't want to. We're gonna have a real conversation, but yeah, John, I have you pulled up. I'll send you the message once we get through. Oh no,
Here we go.
it's No, it's vintage. False alarm. It's vintage.
No, I got him.
Nope. Okay, but vintage is in the chat with us, or he's in the back end.
Oh, okay. All right.
I'll bring him on once he's ready. 1962. Yeah, 1962 on Discord, bro. What does that make?
I got
you?
him.
60, 63, roughly.
Yeah.
All right. Be fun.
Yeah.
I'm interested in this conversation.
Focus, did you see the most recent thing I sent to you over Discord?
Let me see. Oh, is it the not that one. I didn't see that one yet.
All right.
Did I-
Pull this one up real fast. Where I have way too many things in my downloads now. Where'd it go? I know I saved it.
I
There it is.
believe he is in. Let me see.
Yeah, that's the CEO of.
Starfish, are you with us, buddy?
Are we talking about guy who looks like they stopped drinking adrenochrome for fucking a day? Ellen DeGeneres looking motherfucker.
There's some similarities here. I mean, I'm sure Mark's a nice guy.
I'm talking about that.
It's just the eyes.
Wait, the David guy?
Which guy? I thought that was.
He's
Mark,
been tortured by the cartel for fucking 48 hours.
That's Mark.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know if Starfish can figure out his microphone.
It's
settings.
all right. It's all right.
Give him time.
Relax.
He's 80.
It's Friday night. What do you guys have to go on? There's 1,300 people waiting for us to have a wonderful conversation. Starfish, can you hear us, good sir?
I can hear you.
Oh,
There we
fantastic.
go.
You don't
There we
sound
go.
62.
I'm not. What the fuck is going on with my setup? What's up,
people are
boys?
No, we can hear you. Oh, perfect. Excellent.
You just
Somebody
took
say you
more
were
than
62?
he took more than 2 seconds to get in here, so they thought he was illiterate with technology.
He's
Well, no,
actually a
it's-
boomer.
No, I
Is-
guess I have 2 Discord accounts. That's news to me, but
Yeah.
here we go.
All right. Well, let me you have the floor, good sir. So give us you've been listening to us for a little while at least. So give us your counterfactual to our case.
I just want to start off with I really don't care about either side. I just want to know why we're all getting on our knees and glazing Lucas when he's lied about like being disqualified from matches, like training special forces people at his range, and like
Slow
other
down,
like
slow
way
down 1
minor
second.
stuff.
Sorry, your mic was a tad bit hot there. So you're talking about Lucas has lied about other things in the past. What was the first one you said?
Oh man. Well, like he's lied about being like DQ'd from matches, right? Like soft dudes training, like him training soft guys at his range, and like and a couple other things, right? Like speeding up his footage was the one used in the chat, right? Like he's lied about stuff like that. It's like I just want to know why we're like bending over for him 100% here.
So let's take everything you said at face value. Let's say all of that is true, that he lied about getting DQ'd, training soft guys, even though I think he just had soft guys at his range, I think would be the counter argument to that. Let's say all of that is true. Let's take that. What from what we've said tonight seems like we're glazing Lucas and think that he's 100% correct in everything that he did.
I mean, that's just the impression that I got, right?
Okay.
Like, we're not taking anything that like Isaac and that weird looking bald guy are saying at face value, right? We're like reading in our own biases instead of just like we got Lucas's side, now this is their side. Who's telling the truth? It's somewhere in the middle.
I think that is a good point though, that somebody is lying, right? Because the two stories do not match up. Now, what is what does match up though is the claims of, oh well, we were just naive when we took controlling interest of the company, you know, very shortly on, that sort of thing, right? Now
yeah,
you can,
I think we can all agree that that's dirty, right?
yeah, right. And then when they talk about, so their version of the prenup is like, Lucas realized, or he recognized that he needed to have a prenup, and then you listen to Lucas and he's like, oh, they told me I needed to get a prenup. Those two statements aren't super congruent. So I personally would tend to believe Lucas's side of that. That seems more reasonable, that he wouldn't want to get a prenup. And he's like, well, you guys don't have one, so you guys should get one, right? Because you guys are already married. So it seems to me like they're lying by omission, right? So the whole thing is kind of set up for Lucas. I'll grant that point, because Lucas looks like the guy who got pushed out. And self-admittedly, kind of, they didn't want him to do a lot of these things. The new CEO that they bring on, who Lucas allegedly wants on, then kicks him out of the executive position like 3 months later, right? And so Lucas is literally relegated to just being a marketing guy at the start at his own company, right? So I mean, it's a sympathetic case. It's a sympathetic case we made. So what I want to hear is the counterfactual to that, right? Because if you have, let's say Lucas lied about a couple details, right? The main issues, the furry porn, the getting taken off of the executive board,
Do we know if it was actually furry porn, or is that a meme?
It was confirmed.
So
no, it was confirmed, dude.
Brandon was on, and
shit.
it was he described it as a web comic that showed penetration between
anamorphic
anamorphic humans, right? So it's furry porn is what it is. It's whatever that means. It's furry porn.
Oof.
Right, and then the
also,
individual not getting fired. And again, another problem with Trex.
Didn't they say that they fired him though after the investigation? Isn't that what they said in the video?
No. So let me play it back for you real fast, because I think that this is important to note. They did not fire. Let me pull it up. They did not fire the gentleman. He is no longer working with, because he ended up quitting after. Now, a counterpoint against Lucas is you could say, oh, hey, he was telling everybody who worked there who sent his wife furry porn, and then that guy ended up leaving out of shame, basically. But due to their investigation, what exactly did he say? Did he say sexual? Was it porn?
I think it was explicit, right? It was sexually explicit.
Come on. Google's failing me. Somewhere in here he talked about it, because we can get it straight from what they meant, what they said.
He used the verbiage sexually explicit at least once. That I do know.
My gosh. It's got to be in here somewhere. There it is. Okay, here we go. So,
actually, yeah, he used the term "red rocket." That's what he used. He said "red rocket."
red rocket
comic stream.
A now former team member sent a sexually inappropriate webcomic to Lucas's wife. When Lucas brought this to leadership's attention, we immediately suspended the guy and began investigating. And that kind of conduct is not acceptable, and we don't tolerate it here at Trex Arms. Our sympathy is also for Lucas and his wife. No one should be on the receiving end of unwanted sexual material. During the investigation, the guy stated that he had tried to share the images from social media to himself, and he thought he had sent them to his own iMessage. It was on a personal device at home. Intent is very hard to prove, but all of the evidence was consistent with it being an accident. There was no pattern of harassment or solicitation, and the decision that was made was to suspend him without pay, put him on probation for 18 months, and ban him from any further contact with the victim. We later ran this by...
So he was suspended, I think, for 1 week or 2 weeks, but then he was back to work as normal on an 18-month probation. Basically, again, don't send furry porn to the boss's wife again in the next 18 months and you'll be fine. And again, the entire time they leave out the detail that, oh yeah, this guy is the son of an executive, right? After Lucas gets kicked off of the executive board, which it's all these little things that keep adding up to each other that, yeah, it just doesn't look good, right? And they go on to admit in just a few seconds that, oh yeah, by the way, we handled the case wrong.
An employment attorney, and their verdict was what we did was reasonable, and it was designed to prevent anything like this from happening again in the future. However, after the fact, Lucas began spreading the team member's name among other team members, and he is no longer with the company.
Yeah. So to be clear, he quit. And he quit after Lucas had left. So I think he ended up leaving on like June 1st. Lucas quit on May 28th. So he actually lasted longer at the company than Lucas did. Now, Brandon said something to the effect of they asked him not to come back. However, that would mean that he got fired. However, if it was less than forceful, that means that he did end up quitting on his own, right? And again, I don't even know how much of Brandon's story is accurate since he's not a first party to all of these details. And he said so much in that interview. But then they go on to admit, I think right here, that Lucas said, hey, you guys need to deal with this, talk to a lawyer. And then they say, actually, no, we're not going to do that.
We fell short in not going a little slower and getting more counsel. Lucas asked us to run it by an attorney at the time, and we didn't do that. I wish we had. In the low trust environment that had developed, it would have made a lot of sense. It would have been wise to do. The Bible actually says in many advisors, there is safety. And so,
and then they go back to that. So yeah, that's what happened with the furry porn instance. They didn't even fire the guy, right? At least not explicitly. They might have said like, hey, bro, you need to not come back tomorrow, I guess. But their wording was, he is no longer with us.
Yeah. Which, I don't know, like working at a like a bigger company like that, like it feels like that's the right thing, but also like I don't know if I would be okay with like working with someone who sent my wife for furry porn either.
And remember that he's an owner, and Lucas told me that he was like, yeah, I was paying the guy's salary that sent my wife furry porn. Right?
Would you pay a guy to send your wife furry porn?
Well, that's
I don't think any of us here would do that.
Well, so Starfish, I really appreciate you coming on, but I want to ask you this. So have you ever worked a low-end job where if you sent an owner, the boss, their significant other porn or explicit images, you would not have been fired immediately?
No.
Right. Yeah, that's my take too, is that I've never had that kind of job security where I could accidentally send porn to one of the executives, one of their significant others, and not get fired or assaulted on the same day.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. So again, you can say that there's no positive case for Lucas in this, but you can definitely say that T-Rex Arms handled it wrong.
Yeah.
As far as glazing Lucas, I get what you're saying there, because all we're saying really in effect is that T-Rex Arms appears to be in the wrong. Lucas definitely made bad decisions 100% along the way. I believe the claims of him being hard to work with and unempathetic and difficult and obstinate and stubborn at times are 100% true, because Lucas has also said that, right? So in this situation, it's not totally binary, because both parties have done things wrong, but one party has all of the power and the other is gone. Right. So if we're going to pick sides, you don't have to pick a side. You don't have to care at all. But if you're going to pick a side, it appears that Lucas is the majority wronged person in this. So that's why there's an intrinsic reaction to a lot of this information where, like, you bring your brothers on to help you out with the company you started, and then they almost immediately take controlling interest from you. Right. There's something intrinsically like, I don't like that.
Yeah, I think me and Vintage were agreeing about that in the chat earlier, right? Like, hey, like that's kind of a dick move, right? But like also, Lucas and his brothers seem to have long-standing problems working together.
Well, I think
behind the scenes.
The big thing too is there's other parts of like the pattern that I see. I'm looking at the wife drama and that 100%. That adds up to me. And like, there's a lot of little things that I think have added up to this point. Sure. Absolutely. But I don't think that if I had to like bet money on who's maybe more in the right versus who's more in the wrong, I'm willing to, and it's funny because I've gotten people tonight who said, "Hey, I'm glazing Lucas." Like I get criticized because I talked about the PSR versus Lucas thing, and I thought that the way that Lucas handled that was gay because he didn't go all in. If you're gonna talk shit, like go all in. Don't do this drive-by thing, right?
Well, right, or passive aggressive, you know.
Yeah, don't be
stuff
like
that.
passive aggressive. But I'm also willing to like look at something objectively and be like, all right, no, how this looks to me was, oh, your wife is has not been your wife as long as our wives, and she's gay, and you need to have a prenup, but don't you fucking talk to me about a prenup.
Yeah,
and it starts all these problems.
And that's
Like-
the two main distinctions between the T-Rex arm video and the Lucas video is in the Lucas video, he says that the other owners, the brothers, did not take that conversation well, as in they did not want to get prenups or postnups with their wives. But in the T-Rex arms video, they're like, we all agreed upon this. And it's like, well, that seems like that's leaving something out. Now, again, you could say Lucas is lying there. Possible, right? And another thing that actually is kind of damning towards Lucas, at least in one aspect, is that the CEO claims that his wife did get brought in for 2 one-on-one meetings. They had a board meeting about her application, right? So if that's true, in Lucas's video, he says that they basically disrespected and blew off his wife in that manner, right? Which it would not be correct if she had 2 one-on-one meetings, a board meeting about her application, and then they just came to the decision that a chemical engineer doesn't currently fit with our needs, right?
So I would ask what the other wife does at the company, because I could understand the angst with another.
Does she
wife.
work at HR? Is that the
other?
answer?
That's right. Yeah, the other wife might just be like an assembler or work in customer service or whatever it might be, right? And so, if the argument from T-Rex Arms is like, well, listen, you're a chemical engineer, you're very, very talented in this, but it's, we make holsters and put, holsters together, like it's not a particularly, and we ship packages out, like it's, I don't know what a chemical engineer does here. Now in
Actually,
Lucas's
Hook
video,
brings up a good point in the chat here. Is like their board meetings have like minutes, right, that they legally have to keep, so they could just release those.
Well, and another thing too is if Lucas has a response to this, because they're in the middle of a buyout. So if they say something that's wrong or untoward, that's going to be used against T-Rex Arms. So hopefully they were incredibly careful, at least with how they worded the statement.
Yeah, my company just got through that, right, of 18 months of getting bought out. So I'm very sympathetic to that. Not having to say shit.
Now, as far as T-Rex Arms, the company goes, like, the products are still the products. They're still fine. There's not a problem with them, right? I mean, the AC1, the Ready Rig, I have a Ready Rig behind me. Like, it's still good products. It's not a problem there. The holsters are really good holsters. They're really fast at doing custom manufacturing or whatnot. Yeah, I mean, it's just the board, specifically the executives. It's just if you follow the chain of events, it's like brothers get brought on, loses controlling interest. Isaac gets brought on, loses even more controlling interest. They have disagreements. They decide to hire a CEO. The CEO within 3 months fires Lucas from the executive board. And so now Lucas is at the company he started and built basically off of his reputation and marketing skills.
Yeah, but Isaac also got taken off of the board too, right? It wasn't
but
just
we don't
Lucas.
know. We don't know why though. So that's the one area where I would like some clarification on, because maybe Isaac wanted off the board, but T-Rex specifically said that Lucas was removed from the board, which implies that he doesn't want that.
Yeah, but in their timeline thing on their site, doesn't also say that Isaac and Lucas were removed?
Let me pull it up. Lucas and Isaac are removed. It does use removed, so I wonder. Yeah, so that's what I want clarification on. Let me show that for the chat. It does say Lucas and Isaac are removed, and non-owner executives added. So somebody in the chat pointed it out that it's possible that they wanted more non-family executive board members to remove the family influence and the family dynamics from the business. That's possible, right? They're like, hey guys, this family infighting is causing too much drama here, so we are going to try and have more unbiased unbiased, cooler heads prevailing, maybe. But again, I would like more clarification on why both of them were removed.
Night Fighter shitting on me in the chat.
John, I sent you an invite link. You have an invite link if you want to hop on.
We need more Johns in the call. But real quick, I wanted to say I just trust the side that is not constantly omitting information, like not involving in their timeline that they released a video and kind of doing weird corporate talk, which maybe just for the buyout, that's what they have to do. But it seems a little bit scummy to me.
Right, yeah, because they miss out the point where they publish the video here, and then Lucas makes his response video. Because Lucas has talked about it several times where he wasn't planning on making his video until July, which we're not even in yet. So they could have forestalled all this drama for months and been very happy campers, and probably even got the buyout done before doing anything. And they would have had minimal losses in terms of sales or reputational damage, because that's the biggest thing. Even if their sales are only down a little bit, they've lost a lot of reputation.
I mean, I know we're talking about it in the middle of the night on stream on YouTube, but like, how many people do you actually think are going to care that Lucas is not at T-Rex anymore?
Brother, there are 1,300 people watching my shitty stream on a Friday night when they could be hanging out with their friends.
If it was
any
other company, it would be fine, because they don't value morals so much. But since it is a company that really, really focuses in on morals and like that type of marketing, I feel like it affects them extra so, especially since Lucas is a figurehead.
When was the last time?
They're also their numbers on their
a while
videos
now.
hasn't really been that great either. So like
Right.
like the people who are leaving who would have been steadfast viewers, that does affect their like algorithmic bullshit too. Like there are things that you're not seeing that are affecting them, whether they'll say that or not. Of course they're not, but
so there is one thing that I think a lot of people are overlooking here. When was the last time any gun channel made it to the top 10 trending on YouTube?
Well, if we go to Lucas's, just look at his video. It has 1.5 million views on it. It hit number 9 in trending, right, on YouTube. He has 250,000 subs.
1.5 million people care.
Yeah.
That's a significant number.
I mean, and if we just compare that to the last T-Rex Arms video, I mean, it's not going to be that fair because it's going to be Lucas's, but it's going to be 55,000 views 2 weeks ago. The comments on this video, absolutely murder.
What's the last video with Lucas in it? What's it?
Custom night vision. It's night vision content. Night vision sucks. The last real one, 187 on the 6.5 Creedmoor, 69. I mean, the views aren't great overall for a company with 1.7 million subs, but yeah, the most hate that they get is on these last 3 videos. It's absolutely terrible. I mean, because we could just go through the comment
It's been
section.
a while now since
we started this video. There's an extra 1,500 comments on their video of not sales are dropping. Let's make a video. Y'all fucked up. Everyone is moving with Lucas. Should have taken the buyout. Whenever I have a disagreement with my siblings, I'm going to rewatch this video to remind myself that they won't throw me under the bus, insult my spouse, steal my business, and say it's my own fault. Yeah, I mean, you can just go on. We read these at the beginning of the stream. We could not find a positive comment when there were only 2,000 comments.
And like, look at how big Lucas's new channel has gotten. Like the growth that he's had in the time that this all dropped. I mean, it's unprecedented for
almost a 250,000.
That's insane.
Almost a 250,000 subs.
Yeah.
Wait, is that
213,000. Sorry.
I thought it said 243. Never mind.
Yeah.
That was a very long way of saying that people care.
People care. I mean, so I get what you're saying about glazing Lucas in this situation, but you don't even have to glaze Lucas. You can just say, "Hey, I think T-Rex Arms is in the wrong here." like that's what it looks like. You don't have to care about Lucas all that much to point out that T-Rex Arms appears to be in the wrong. You know, that's that.
As a neutral observer, right? Because I really don't have a dog in the Lucas or the T-Rex fight, right? It looks like a bunch of brothers don't like each other and don't like each other's wives and split the company up. And now, like,
That's
we're
been my
all
whole
not telling
argument
the
the whole
truth.
time.
Kind of, but it seems like three brothers against one, though. So it's not like a power struggle. It's like, hey, guy who started the company, F you, we're going over here. So I mean, I would agree with that point more if it were more like even, I suppose. But it's very obvious that only one of the brothers is being a problem for the rest, and that they've now basically removed him, right?
I think they overestimated also, like, you know, what they would be able to do with the channel in marketing or whatever. I think they underestimated how much so that, like, Lucas's face was the company, you know? And now it's a thing where they have to address that.
If you think of a person at T-Rex Arms, you think of Lucas. So it's just kind of an inevitability if you get rid of the main guy who started the company.
And
for me, it's Isaac personally, because I watch way more T-Rex Labs content than I do main channel content.
I get that comment a lot. Isaac is before this had a spotless reputation, like absolutely spotless, and people would comment that they'd say exactly that. Isaac is the only one I watch. I'm only here for T-Rex Labs, all that, because Lucas is a very divisive person. Now, I've had him on the show a couple times, and before this incident, it was very 50-50 on love-hate with Lucas. But due to this situation, and what people see is, again, people taking advantage of their younger brother, or however, you know, bad things happen in the family to push Lucas out. They're siding with Lucas en masse. And so now, without having to do anything other than lose his company, he's basically won. Okay, sorry. I just got like a horrible notification in my head from somebody else. I thought that was something on stream or whatnot. You guys probably didn't even hear that, but there was some weird sounds going on in my head there for a second. But yeah, because of what happened to him, now everybody's on his side, and he basically has almost universal support.
It's also like a perception is reality. It's a gay old army term, but like what people, court of public opinion, what people perceive to be, you know, they can take that from like things in their own life. Like you bring wife drama into it, most people are gonna like be like, all right, this is what's happening. This is the reason why. You remove like furry porn and all this other shit, like all this other stuff, people would like come to the same conclusions.
Hearing voices, it's just, yeah, I'm sorry, that was a weird, it was like
a little bit of
long. I've never
schizophrenia.
heard it before. I've never heard that before, and it just started to
Are the voices in the room with us now, John?
They're in my computer apparently, which is also, I wonder if it, I wonder if it ever finished doing that. Yeah, no, I had a drive die on me today, so I've been working to try and fix that, which has been a miserable process. Sorry about that. Well, anything else that you want to point out? So you're tired of all the Lucas glazing, and you want us to go back to hating so that we can focus on the true hero of the situation, T-Rex Labs, right?
I mean, I do appreciate Isaac's content on T-Rex Labs, even though a lot of people in the chat are calling me a nerd for liking radio stuff.
No, I mean, it is. Isaac has made great content. I've met Isaac. I've talked to Isaac. Seems like a great guy. I just think they're in the wrong in this situation. Pretty simple.
And I've criticized Lucas myself before, and I've been accused of glazing PSR because I said the way that Lucas handled something was...
glazing gets thrown around all the time.
It's a useless...
You're glazing. You're glazing,
it means
bro.
no fucking... It means nothing.
We're not at a P. Diddy party. No more glazing, guys.
Or is that oiling? Or are we oiling?
Yeah.
I mean, we could oil up.
Sponsor.
Also, thank you for not being a retarded spurg. Thank you for coming in here.
No,
like,
Starfish has been
cool.
great. I'm actually very happy. This is, out of our greatest defender polls, you have actually been the best one.
You didn't get high on stream.
All right,
by
thanks.
far. Yeah, no, fantastic. Because you sound like a normal guy. You sound like a normal person that just has normal takes, just a little bit different. So is there a reason that you're not as supportive of Lucas, or that you don't believe Lucas as much? Because in the beginning you talked about the lies that he's done in the past, which again, I'll just take those at face value. Is it just that type of stuff so you're less likely to take a side in this situation?
Yeah, I'm just less inclined to believe his version of events because of those things in the past, right? Like, I don't know if we need to recap them, but like, yeah,
No,
that's
I
why
mean-
like when Lucas came out, like I'm gonna be honest, when Lucas made his video, I definitely thought the reason why T-Rex didn't say anything immediately was because they were trying to save their brother, like the embarrassment of like revealing that his wife was trying to cheat on him with like someone else's kid at the company, right? That was my first hot take when all this shit happened.
So what are your thoughts on Lucas's takes in general? I'm curious.
I don't know. They're okay, right? Like I can get behind the whole like citizen, like active citizen thing, right? But like other than that, I don't know. I don't really watch a lot of Lucas's content.
Okay, so you weren't like a Lucas lover or hater before, just in
No.
like the other than the lying stuff, right?
Yeah.
I think the reason why you might see more like Lucas lying and stuff is because he's the most public figurehead in this whole thing. The other people really kind of stay behind the scenes for the most part, except for Isaac.
Yeah.
Yeah, like I said, like my only experience with like T-Rex is through Isaac's content, right? Like I don't own any of their shit. I don't watch the main channel, right? Like I just saw Isaac's video recommended to me after I was watching a dirty civilian video, right? And then that's how I got into T-Rex Labs.
Oh, okay, interesting. So you went dirty civilian before T-Rex.
Yeah,
for
is
T-Rex
there
Labs.
is it supposed to be the other way around? Like I don't know. Is there some dirty civilian T-Rex drama that I don't know about?
Are you joking with me right now? I can't tell sarcasm.
I am
socially inept.
100% not fucking with you.
No, come on. They used to work for T-Rex, and they left because they weren't getting enough creative control.
Oh well, I wonder if they'll work at T-Rex again.
Ooh, that would be fun.
Oh, that would be
they
funny.
get hired back. T-Rex, actually, that's not a bad business move. T-Rex Arms is like, we need somebody personal and charismatic. Damn, we're getting the dirty civilian guys back right now.
Well, they live in the same part of Tennessee still, don't they? So like,
probably.
I wonder why
yeah,
would
there's
that
gonna
would
be a lot more T-Rex arm shit on their videos, right?
Actually, that would be really funny. That all right, you guys can do our videos again, but only one ad spot per video.
No, you have to have the mandatory 2 minutes of shilling in the middle of a dirty civilian video.
But yeah,
Part of the
I don't know.
contract.
That's just my opinion, man.
What's your opinion on Grand Thumb?
Before or after he cheated on all of his wives?
I'm just gonna go with like in general.
I mean, content wise, it's okay, right? But like, as like a moral, supposedly God fearing person, I don't know how you can be a great Christian man and cheat on all your wives.
He just stuck a thumb in it. He just.
How do you feel about raising an Aryan army? How do you feel about that?
Well, all my
I'm just
kids
fucking with you at this
are mixed Hispanic ancestry, right? So, not really doing my
Mixed with
part
what?
for the white nation.
The mestizo
Wait,
race
mixed
will
with
rise
what?
again.
Whoa! Costizo here, John. All right.
Costizo, my bad.
Whoa.
Wait, what are your kids mixed with?
Cuban, and like
Cuban?
I'm white, and my wife is Cuban.
Okay, AOC.
Is she in the
Look.
chat again? My wife's Cuban. You guys have
I'm
seen
gonna
her,
refrain
right?
from making like fucking insane comments. I don't want to fuck with this guy.
No, we're 2.5 hours in. Just
He's been
get-
cool.
I couldn't
No,
resist those here.
this guy's been nice. This guy's been nice. I don't want to.
No,
very
you,
nice.
you
Yeah,
have had
appreciate it.
very well balanced takes in all sincerity.
Yeah.
Fair and balanced, boys.
That's right. All right. Well, hey, anything else you wanna shill for before we kick you out of here, and we'll kind of get to, unless you want to hang out for super chats, you're welcome to hang.
I mean,
Yeah, we need a
I just got my
contrarian.
kids to sleep, so I'm not doing anything else.
Yeah, no, you're free to hang out. You'll probably have a counterpoint to some of these super chats coming up. So, all right. PX 1061 for $2 says T-Rex is dead to me. Oh, so Starfish, do you buy anything from T-Rex?
No, I don't own any of their
said he
stuff.
doesn't own anything.
I don't even own I don't even shop for the other brands that they carry there.
Starfish, are you brown?
No.
Don't ask about
Mexican?
people's brown Starfish vintage. What have I told you about that?
I'm chocolate. I'm not brown, boys. Come
I'm
on.
pretty sure that's what happened at T-Rex Arms. Right?
Dude, this
No,
is
that was
Impact with a
Furry
fucking voice changer. I knew it, dude. I knew it.
Hello, sir. Blade, come again. Shooting the shit podcast. 29 says, "I'll come on. I'd be more than happy to talk shit." Oh, really? You'd be happy to talk shit on the Shooting the Shit podcast? Really? Well, no, I need to check out your stuff, but I'd be happy to let you on. Oh, there she is. There's my Cuban wife. Focus Trip's wife, 499, says, "As we say in my country, las mujeres cubanas lo hacen mejor." And I don't know what that means. So
Best not to Google it.
Deport.
Yes, cubanas lo hacen.
You have to use the Google Translate voice.
Are we
to
really
say it,
translating fucking pig Latin right now, John?
This isn't
Cuban
even a
women
real
do
language.
it. No. She says Cuban women do it better. Interesting. Appreciate it, folks. Wife.
Nice.
Absolute Moonman from $5 says, "This guy sounds like every guy I don't want to play Hunt Showdown with." Dude,
I don't like Hunt Showdown, so we'd never play together.
You do sound like every person I've ever played video games with before. Like, you're in every random lobby I've ever joined. There's one voice like yours.
Yeah,
I don't know how to take that, John.
It's not a
Take
bad
it
thing.
how
It's
you
just
will.
there's always one.
You got the assume he hates you. Just assume he hates you.
That's fair.
Worst
same.
worst face imaginable. Chuck Dangle for 499 says, "The sauce on the T-Rex Arms furry comic, vintage, LMAO." Yeah, it was apparently the guy was.
Have we
really
seen it?
into this? No, as far as I know, it hasn't leaked yet. Although, according to Brandon, it will leak at some point, which means that multiple people have it and have seen it. Imagine this comic strip just printed out on the T-Rex Arms board meeting as they're going over it.
It's not a fucking PowerPoint.
It's in that chronograph. It's like where furry porn was posted. Board meeting. That'd be funny.
Guys, we got one free pass. Don't post.
It's going to be in whatever T-Rex's version of sharp training is.
Or in the legal documents, it's like, "Your Honor, if you would direct your attention to Exhibit A over here, the web comic in question."
Showing a
It'll come out.
Like, yeah, I'm sorry. Don't worry about it.
Oh no.
Starfish sounds like a bigger twink than Lucas. What? Thank you, Coppertone, for 32. All right, build and wait. If you're so brave, Starfish.
Eh?
Yeah.
Physique.
All right, wait. Post physique, bro.
Oh, 6'1", 250.
Oh, okay. So not a twink. Big boy. Nice. 6'1", though.
Depends
SB89
on
for
how
2.
that 250 is distributed, though.
Stacked. Ripped.
It's either
Just
it's
about
either
to step
at
on
250
stage.
at 6'1", it's either muscular or it's like you're obese.
It's a big boy. No, in my mind, he's about to step on stage. SV89 for $2 says, "Lucas is based. The others are not. Simple as." I think the others are less political. Lucas is much more overtly political.
Well, Isaac's the one
in
that got
this.
him into actual politics, right?
Well,
like
I guess
meeting
that's
with
fair.
Tennessee people. Like he did a series in DC about being a
Well, were you
lobbyist,
there?
right?
Well,
Like,
specifically, yeah, being a lobbyist, like trying to get that ammo tax repealed. But I think Lucas just didn't want to invest a lot of money in politics. But as far as like openly talking about their politics, I think Lucas is more outspoken, although he's outspoken on most things. So
The most unrealistic part of this entire thing to me is that Lucas would block prayer at work.
Yeah, that's nuts to me. I don't.
That
believe
sounds-
that.
I didn't get that. I would like, again, if there is going to be a
It's
clarification on the other side.
voluntary, right? Like that's
Yeah.
Right.
the key word. I don't believe that voluntary prayer would have been thrown out the window by him. It's just weird to me. I don't know why he would do that.
Yeah, it's either a lie or just odd.
Yeah.
Agreed. Focus Strip's girlfriend for $4.99 says, any chick who would find Lucas bangable be having issues to begin with. Aw, man. Dang.
Are you a woman?
Me?
No, the guy saying that. Are you a woman?
Well, it was Focus Strip's girlfriend. So I don't know what it was.
I don't think anybody in this chat is a woman.
True.
No, I know my chick's watching right now. She's deaf.
We got one.
Pro gamer Nick Gurlips for $1 says nothing. Appreciate that, sir. SB89 for 2 says refund for Starfish. I want T-Rex strongest defender. Yeah, people were wanting more cringe, but I think you're perfect as is.
To be
You're
honest,
perfect just the way
Starfish,
you
you
are.
were way more neutral than I thought you would be. That's where I think people were like, oh, I was expecting like, what was that drunk Hawaiian fat guy he had on that one time?
Oh yeah.
Oh,
Sig
they wanted
guy.
Matt Pranka 2.0. Is that what was going to happen?
Or whoever the fuck that was. That was funny to watch. I wanted him to do
Yeah.
a haka. I wanted to pay like 20 to get him to do a haka.
Hops on stream, immediately pulls out his bong.
Yeah, his dirty ass bong water. That was
Yeah.
nuts.
That was very fun. My offense piece for $9.99. Just because the dude is one of the executive's son doesn't mean he gets pampered. And yeah, you guys did tolerate it by not firing him immediately after a violating company/moral policy. Well, not necessarily that because he was an executive, he got treated differently on a daily basis, but it just seems strange to me that a lay person, like just a low-level employee, wouldn't just get fired immediately for sending furry porn to the boss's wife, because he admits that he did it. It was just accidental.
Was he a low-level employee? Do we know his position at the company?
He was or you're talking about the.
He was the son of an executive, but do we know
that? How are you a
what
low-level guy if you're fucking? I don't know.
Well, I think he was a low-level guy.
What's
I
the
think
moral
the son.
policy in the handbook?
There's no such
right?
thing. There's no such thing as a low-level guy if you're tied, like in a family way, to an executive.
Oh,
Like,
I get what you're saying. Right. So that's why I think that my personal opinion is I think that did factor in. If you're saying that it didn't, I mean, it's still a smaller company, 100 employees roughly, right? So son of an executive, I feel like that gives you a little bit of sway, considering that it's going to be on the executives to fire you. So, but thank you for the $10, sir. And as far as what policy he violated, they had a no sexual harassment policy. I'm sure they have a moral clause. Most companies do. If you do something on the job or to somebody who works there or whatnot, there's usually like a moral clause in there where they can fire you for doing something untoward towards somebody. So, for instance, if I got a DUI at work, or sorry, not even at work, just in my personal life on the weekend, if I got a DUI, some companies have full legal ground to fire you for that because you violated their moral code.
They didn't have a no furry porn clause.
Well, it wasn't even just furry porn; it was sending it to the boss's wife. It's that
3 times,
and that's already that's like the epitome of like how do you even get in that situation? Like that's like you ever seen like an American Pie movie? Where you're like, the guy's caught like doing something retarded, like he's fucking an apple pie, and like the dad. It's like how do you get in that situation? It's retarded.
So in my mind, that is what fueled the like potential cheating allegation in my brain, right? Because how does this random dude have Lucas's wife's phone number?
Mm-hmm. So according to Lucas, it's because Lucas throws these parties at his house for all the employees, and Kara handles the RSVP, so all the invitations go out through her. So allegedly, on Lucas's side of the story, she has almost everybody's number in her phone, and vice versa, they have her number because they come to his house, they eat his food, they drink his drink, and they send his wife furry porn, as allegedly. Right.
See, that's weird to me because like my wife is Hispanic, so there's like 60 people that come to our house every time that there's a birthday, right? It's like we don't use text messages to coordinate all that, right? There's these other services you can use to like send invitations and RSVPs on the internet. It's like it just feels weird that.
Well, so let's I can even take that a step further. Let's say that Carol was cheating. That's another reason to fire the guy, right?
Well, okay. Let's be objective
right?
here. Let's be objective here. How many times, like a normal woman, okay, just like a normal woman, right? How many times have you, if you've hit like some of the guys, like I'm going to assume all of you have felt the warmth of a woman, okay? So,
never, and I'm married.
That's true. I gotcha. Now, when have you ever rizzed up a woman with fucking furry porn? So that's my I don't believe that happened because of the nature of what was sent. I do actually believe that it was maybe an accident, maybe it was like some weird autistic trolling thing. Maybe the guy's mentally unwell, but I don't think that it was done in like a way to be like, hey, if I send you this furry porn, will you fuck me? I don't think that's what happened.
Of course he's mentally unwell.
I don't think that's what happened.
He's watching furry porn.
What if Lucas's
I know,
wife is
maybe
into
no. I
furry
think
porn?
that guy
Well,
might have been into it for sure, but I think that it was like you're not like hitting on boss's wife. Like if you're home run, if you're looking to do that, which you're a piece of shit if you are, but if you're looking to do that, you're not sending them animal people porn. Like, it's ridiculous.
Yeah.
No,
so
stupid.
For me, the other aspect, if you're into theory crafting land, which while we're here, is you could say that, well, he was having some strife with the executive board that he just got removed from. And one of the sons trolling is like, oh, Lucas is giving my dad a hard time at work. I'm going to send his wife this random.
That I could
porn
actually
stuff.
see, right?
Yeah,
like,
and that's
especially
like
if
a
this
fuck
dude is
you
like
kind of
younger,
thing.
like late teens, early 20s. I could see that.
Yeah, but that's theory crafting.
Why
I
is he
don't know.
working
As
at the company
somebody
if
who's
he's
early 20s, I've never thought about sending furry porn to my boss's wife.
Yeah, like it's just
Your
not
group
a
chats
thing
must
that
have been way
happens.
tamer than mine were back in the day. Then
No, you keep it in the group chat, is what I'm saying. You
No,
don't send it to your boss's wife.
What the fuck group
No.
chats were you in?
What are you talking about?
what? Your boys just don't
That's
randomly
not
send you the
normal.
most disgusting things in the group chat?
No,
No.
not furry
What?
porn.
Bro, Zoomers
I would
are
tell them they're
whacked out.
gay. and I would
You
never
think
talk
that's
to them again.
normal? It's not normal.
Y'all are soft, man.
Zoomers are broken,
Y'all are
aren't they?
soft.
Are you
I'm
a
fine.
Zoomer? Are you a
Y'all
I'm
Zoomer?
fine
can't
being
handle the
soft
furry stuff.
if I'm not getting sent porn.
Man,
okay?
I have-
Let me
have
ask this
never-
question. Starfish, are you a Zoomer?
No.
You're lying. I don't believe you.
No, I was born in the early 90s.
Early
same.
90s. You're telling me you're older than me.
I'm in my mid 30s.
You're
Oh,
mid
you're the
30s.
oldest person on
And,
this
okay,
panel.
wait, hold on. You're mid 30s, and
No.
you remember
Well, yeah, sorry,
people
Richard's
sending
old
you
now. I forget how
furry
old
porn
Richard
in
is.
group chats.
Yeah.
Yes.
That's a Zoomer thing. What in the?
What?
People are fucking broken. Holy shit. I'm sorry. Yeah,
He was
go
a
ahead.
Zoomer
Yeah, I
before
believe
Zoomers
you, but
were cool.
fuck.
Proto Zoomer.
That's nuts.
Starfish. Fed Nick Gur. Damn it, Nick Gur for $1. Thank you for $1. He got me. Damn it. Andrew Vachon for $1.99 says, "What did I miss? Man, you missed so much, so much."
Somebody super kind of dropped the Discord link.
They keep doing
Ban
that.
that
Dropped like
man!
4 times.
We
Night
don't
Fighter
want you.
489 says Star Chump had his chance. I've got better points. John, I sent you the link, but I'm going to be honest. I think you started listening to him and you're like, damn, I'm not taking this guy on. This guy's got hands. Back down, John. Thank you for the 199, sir. I appreciate it. Absolute Moon Man from 5 says, which team has the most money? I trust that one less. Well, in a minute, it's probably going to be Lucas because the buyout is going to be brutal. Because they owe him the amount of money that the company was worth from the moment he left, not what it is worth right now.
They were doing 20 million a year in sales, so
Yeah,
it's
so
worth quite a bit.
Whatever the company ends up being worth, his number does
20
not go
million.
down.
Holy shit! I did not know that.
Yeah,
It'll
15, 20
probably
million.
be that number times 5, right? For like future
Damn.
earnings.
Wow.
I don't know how they're gonna.
That's actually
So it-
way more insane than I thought it was. Damn.
Yeah, so we're talking about big money here, guys.
Yeah.
At least for us. Aaron Keenar for 199 says, I'm with Copper Grease. Get Night Fighter on. I tried. I sent him the link and everything. He backed down. I tried. Vintage Welfare for $10. Just flexing
my
on
top
Vintage
guy.
Warfare. I don't know how they think what they think the company is without Lucas. He might be a goofy caucasoid, but he was mostly correct, even with the abrasive way he went about things. Yeah, I think that is the problem. If you are, thank you, Vintage Welfare, for the $10. Very kind of you. But if you are a company that is built off of Instagram, off of a personality on Instagram, and then that guy on Instagram leaves under less than excellent circumstances, it's just like, well, your entire brand gets dragged down. Now, since then, they've tried to branch out. You got Trex Labs. People love Isaac. People love those videos. They've done a lot more things. They've gotten into a lot more products, but it's still the foundation of that company was built off of Lucas's social media presence, basically.
The company is skinny jeans and running 100 yards.
Yeah. Jake for 189 says, nobody told me of the stream. I was busy anyways. Well, I'm sorry, Jake, but glad to see you're here now. Thank you for the 189, sir. Focus Trip's girlfriend for 189. That doesn't look like a girl. I think of Kara. That hoe could pull some cash. Yeah. Thank you for the 199. Shooting the shit podcast. There's literally a dude in here named Asian Massage Reviews. That is effing hilarious. Lucas just needs to start doing holsters again so I can get one. No, Lucas has said he's not doing holsters anymore. He's done with that. So
he actually said he's going to make jeans.
Yeah,
that's not even a joke.
Jeans and t-shirts.
Yeah, not even tactical jeans, just regular jeans. Ivana, gobble your knob off for $5 says, did you hear about the sexual assault at the Jurassic Park section at Universal Studios? A guy in a dino suit did it to some poor woman. Well,
Never go
that
to
is
Universal in summer, kids.
Bro, that is furry porn IRL.
No, that is T-Rex Arms'. That's the guy. That's the guy.
That's the guy.
He's behind all of it.
Oh my gosh. How would you
He got
do that?
fired from T-Rex, or he left T-Rex, and he's like, you know what?
To Universal. Thank you, Ivana. Gobble your knob
Dino
off.
maxing.
You want to see my Dino Nuggies?
Dino
Oh, God damn
no.
it! Yo, Dino maxing.
Dr. Fuzzy for 199 says, Night Fighter, I sent you the link on Discord, you dork. Night Fighter, you've had the link for like 20 minutes.
Just join.
Maybe he has 2 Discord accounts too.
Yeah, maybe he started. Damn.
Is there a
Everybody's
coincidence that people who want to come argue with us can't figure out a fucking StreamYard link?
That's the problem. That's
Dude,
why we have a Tard test up.
I'm trying. I sent him the link twice now. Night Fighter, just check your Discord. Bro, it's been there for 20 minutes.
Get him.
It's been there for 30 minutes. Almost 40 minutes.
Hey, Dorak, you're the one who's been talking about me glazing Lucas the entire stream. Fuck you! I see his comment.
All right, let's get him on here.
Stream.
This is what I
come
need.
on. Hey, let's
I
go.
need retard cage match now. Come on,
here.
Dvorak. Come here, buddy.
Dvorak.
Dr. Fuzzy 499 says starfishes could have been T-Rex's top guy. Could have been me. Should have been me. No, but I think you're more of a neutral party than a T-Rex defender, if that makes sense. Just a gun guy go for it, Dink.
I was gonna say we need to get a Spurg in here.
Yeah, we need some spice.
We got a couple contenders right now in the chat.
But they can't figure out how to click a link, though. That's the issue.
I have faith in a couple of them.
I don't.
Is Hustle Bones trying to get on? I see people calling him out in the chat. I don't know if Vintage Glaze fair. Oh, that's good. Somebody's gonna make that account now. Just a gun guy. Just a gun guy for 2 says Broad River Tactical versus Novox Research Beef next? Question mark. Dude, there's 2 companies I've never heard of before, so maybe not. Thank you very much. No, dude, I got sent. I'll have to send it to Vintage, but I got sent like a mile-long email about a couple companies allegedly doing some wacky shenanigans. Well, I'll have to send that around. I need to see if I can validate this information.
Is it perhaps a gun company out of Washington?
Let me look at see which one that was. I don't know. I just get passed this information by little birds, and little birds end up on stream sometimes. You know what I'm saying?
Stop watching Game of Thrones, you fucking redditor. Send me the email.
Yeah, go watch the Arrow TV show.
Yeah, watch the Arrow TV show.
Dude, I didn't realize how bad that was. I was watching a video like, what the heck?
It's on the CW.
Guys,
How'd you not know it's going to be bad?
Guns.
Bro, I remember watching the first season and being like, oh, this is pretty good TV. Like the Arrow season 1 was not terrible. But the rest of it, like, wow. Ivana Gobble Your Knob Off for 2 says, yeah, he velociraptor. Oh my gosh. Thank you, Ivana Gobble Your Knob Off. Aaron Keener for 499 says that David Botkin was selling bunker designs that nobody was buying, so he decided to steal his brother's business with his friends. Well, that is a very uncharitable interpretation of events. But yes, I believe David Botkin was actually selling, doomsday bunker designs online. That was his job before T-Rex, I believe.
Watch Doomsday Preppers and get paranoid.
Yeah. Dog on a phone 49 says apparently Dirty Civilian got fired by David B. Really? I'm not super party to all
There
of
he
that
is.
stuff. Finally, only an hour later. We'll let him get set up first. Thank you, Dog on a phone for $1.99. Sandbox Grenade for 10 says I like GT videos the same way I like a movie. I love the super cinematic content with really expensive cameras and guns, but the stars of the show are probably assholes. That's actually a very good analogy there, sir. And thank you very much for the $10. Yeah,
Way less
No,
watchable since Micah left, though.
yeah, Micah and Charlie were good additions to the dynamic for sure. But appreciate it, Sandbox Grenade. Thank you. All right, we have Night Fighter on. Big Dog, how's it going, homie?
Hey guys. Hey, sorry I didn't understand how to check my DMs. I guess I've never received a DM from you before, so it wasn't showing up.
Oh yeah, I guess
Like
true because you just joined the
requested or
Discord. So
something.
yeah,
Well, we're glad to have you here from 2012.
yeah, 2012 called that wants John back. How's your night going, man?
Pretty solid. Pretty solid.
Hell yeah. Well, what's your opening salvo against Mr. Starfish here? Because I saw you calling him out in the chat.
I think I have some good insight on this because my family owned a business when I was a kid, and so I've experienced firsthand family dynamics in a small business, and the dynamics weren't always good. Makes sense so far?
Right. It's a family. Yeah, no, big family. I get it.
Yeah, and I think we can all agree that things aren't always rosy when you're a kid, because you might have someone like my father.
Sorry
Come
to
here,
hear that,
boy.
man.
It's time to wrestle the snake. It's time to wrestle the dad. No, please. You said this wouldn't happen again, Dad. Oh, sorry, I blacked out for a second there. Okay, so I feel like Trex Arms is like in my dad, and I'm Lucas Bodkin. Like, because when I was a kid, my dad used to fuck me. Well, you laugh, but I came away stronger than ever. My dad. I don't understand. This is an inspiring story about becoming a man.
No, keep going. I'm with you. I'm your commandant or
My dad
confidant.
taught me that no matter how many times life pounds you from behind, you just got to keep going, keep taking it, move forward, and you lock that trauma down. And then one day you walk into a military recruiting office and you join and you say, "Do you love me now, Dad? Are you proud of me now? Am I a man now?"
Are you trying to have sex with me?
Continue.
Oh, brother, this guy.
I was literally crying with my camera on. Oh my gosh.
We got our Spurg.
Oh,
Well, that went
wow. Wow. That was amazing. Thank you, John. Performance of the night. I appreciate it, sir.
I really liked the part when he said he feels like Trex Arms is his father and he's Lucas and he's wrestling the snake.
Oh my gosh. That
Missed opportunity for Luke. I am your father.
We really do need to do like a call-in show, like do like a fucking separate channel and just like do
the
call-ins.
call-in shows. That was wild. Thank you, John. I appreciate it. Well, what a way to make an impression. John's first appearance on the show, probably not the last, but his first appearance on the show. Great job. No, I mean, I've talked about having John on the show before. He is relatively normal, but he decided to make an entrance, and he did. Just like his dad. S89 for $2 says, Starfish is a bean burner. Shit, making sense. A bean burner? Is that what they call it?
Yeah, that's a first for me.
I've never heard that term before either. Absolute Moonman for 2 says PowerPoint furry prompt. Let's go. Moonman wants it. He's been searching for it. Let me see here. Delete Laws for 189 says, "Why does Vintage always look so mad at the world?"
It's my
You
fucking
got
caveman
RBF.
forehead and my eyebrows.
Yeah, you got that.
What's
got that
there's this
aggressive.
guy from, you ever seen that? It's like the Labyrinth, and there's like that bully guy, and his eyebrows look, they want to like fly away. Like I have the same eyebrows with a caveman head. It's bad.
You got that Oblivion preset character vibe going on.
He's got that HGH head.
I do.
HGH. Huge ass for 499 says, "I tried pickle Rita at Sonic today. It tasted like Shrek's ass sweat. What the heck is a pickle Rita?"
Don't go to Sonic in general.
Yeah, why would you do that? I lost a
Oh,
credit
is that
card at
pickle
Sonic
Rita?
once.
Is that like a pickle margarita at Sonic?
Oh.
Ew.
Brother, why?
I don't
Pickle
think
Rita? What?
I don't think
What is
Sonic
going
can sell
on?
alcoholic beverages either. So
It's got to be it's
that's
not
their
even
slushy
alcoholic.
thing. It's gonna be awful.
A
They're all
pickle
awful.
juice slushy? What is this? Is this for pregnant women?
Yes.
Gross.
Probably is.
My wife, when she was pregnant with our first kid, pickles all the time, nonstop.
Oh,
Probably would have loved that.
Real
Would have
quick
gone
tip
hard.
for
Me and your wife would
everybody:
get along.
if your wife or girlfriend is ever on her period, this is the thing to make. You get sliced pickles.
Babies. Next question.
Boom, got him.
Damn. I won't even say it though.
I ruined it for you. Range Day, bro. Happy to have you here, sir. Hope you're having a good night, enjoying whatever this show has turned into. Says, "I'm just here for the stash." Indeed.
Which one?
You know which one. My stash is the best stash. on
The
show
next
tonight.
video I do depends on your answer about whose stash.
Oh, Range Day, bro, going down. We need to make a title for that video. Aaron Keener, 189, says, CEO using GBRS tanning beds and roids. No, he looks normal. He looks in good shape. People being mean to the physiognomy of the characters on screen.
He still looks exactly like that guy.
Gentlemen,
Don't Breathe.
There might be another invasion here. Hey, John, you're on. How's you doing all right, man? You need to
Get
talk?
back down on your knees, boy! Dad, no! You said this wouldn't happen again, Dad! You better not tell your mom!
All right.
Hey, can you bring this guy on more?
I'm afraid to. Bloodbase for $9.99 says, "Drop the Discord link again so Hustle Bones can call in." Hustle Bones, get in here. We need you in here.
Hold on, let me see what I can do.
Why are you people so fucking inept with just hitting a link on whatever device?
Also,
hey, guys,
Bloodbase, thank you for the 99.
Oh,
thank
thanks.
you. I appreciate it. That's pretty easy. Absolute Moonman says, "My lad, send me racist stuff, Warhammer stuff, anime stuff, but not furry porn. That's not normal." Yeah,
well,
I
we
do
grew up on old school 4chan, so it was way more normalized back then.
Yeah, 4chan has led to some really interesting people. Fortunately, I've never
Dude,
even been
4chan
on
will
it.
fucking ruin your brain.
Yeah.
Get off of
Yeah.
there.
That's the original brain rot. But yeah, no, I get the first two. Not much anime. Although there are people on the Discord that like anime. Brian 40 for 10 says, feels like Trex was trying to sell it as a family business and not Lucas by leading with all the contributions of the family members. But if that was the case, why give him 50%? Liars. ... Well, whether they like it or not, Lucas was the face of the company. So even if they try and distance it or build up their other members, it doesn't change the fact that Lucas was the face of the company. Thank you, Brian, for 10. My offense piece 499 says, "To be honest, I liked Brandon's content over Lucas. I think Brandon's content was fine. You know, and maybe you like the style of content more, or the actual content of the content, right? A little bit more, but I don't think that's the majority opinion. But no, I've watched Brandon's videos. I've never had a problem with him. And it was very nice that he came on and talked to me, even if people didn't like the answers he gave. CK for 499. I'll go for it.
Bones came in and he left. I don't know why.
I got a message request. Did he send me? Let me see. 1 second.
Yeah, he's
maybe
gone.
I have to do all this stuff.
We have the rare opportunity to have two Bones on stream at the same time.
Oh, that's Cook. CK for 49 says $20 million a year annual revenue, probably 5 to 8 million. EBITDA max, 5 to 8x multiple, most likely for brand worth. Lucas at 45%, maybe 25 to $30 million buyout. Not too shabby.
A fellow biz user. Let's go.
There you go. I mean, once we're in plus $10 million, it's all just funny money at that point to me. It's just whatever. Vintage Welfare for 5 says, other vintage needs to stop vaping. Just sucking on that thing. Unbelievable.
It died. Leave me alone. I'm trying to stop.
It reminds him of his childhood. Just
Smoke
like
that Optimus
My
Prime
father
dick.
was a good man. Don't you fucking put that out there. I won't even joke about that. My dad is good.
Mala's Demeanor for 499 says, Night Fighter and Hustle Bones Spurg match now, please. Yes, we will get that rolling just for you, good sir. Far Too Crazy for 5 says, looking to buy a Meprolite M21. Don't. Should I go with the Triangle or HC Reticle? Well, is the HC the actual reticle? Because I would not buy a Triangle reticle for a red dot. I don't know why you would do that. But honestly, not too sure. I don't know why you would buy a Meprolite either for the money, you know?
Because they're our greatest ally.
Ooh, yeah. Subsidizing the Iron Dome. 6 hour for 49 says, miss me now. That was right after John had his first session. Yes, I saw your chat come through. That's yes, we were in need of some 6 hour. I appreciate it, sir, for the 499. Chuck McGill 69 says, bro's dad was the dinosaur and he was the woman. Oh no. Yeah, family field trips to Orlando were probably not fun. Thank you for the 199, sir. Ivana Gobbler-Naboff became a YouTube member. Awesome. Thank you very much for that, sir. And the lore about Universal. Jake from 499 says, this starfish guy needs to be bullied more. P.S. Good to see my wage slave vintage is looking thick and magnificent. Hey, we don't bully people here unless they deserve it. He's been incredibly cogent and normal, for lack of a better term, minus the furry porn stuff. But other than that, very normal. Ouch, SV is not cooling down. For 2 says, thought Race Trader was too abrasive, so Bean Burner. Yikes. Thank you, SV89.
SV89 would have all the terminology on lock, though.
Yeah,
He should probably consult the skin color chart of Latin countries that are slightly below the United States. Then he wouldn't be so weird about it.
Are you saying that he has darker skin? Is that what you're hitting at?
No. That Mexico and Cuba can be way whiter than people give them credit for.
Oh, okay. I thought you were comparing him to
he's
darker
trying to
people.
say his kids with his Cuban wife are going to be Aryan.
No, they have brown hair, but they do have green eyes, so it evens out.
Oh, so they're Polish.
Why not?
Even worse.
As long as they're not French. Malice Demeanor for $9.99 says, corporate drama, skinny jeans, CEO that looks like he's sheep, that looks like he likes sheep. Can Hustle Bones, Outspurg, Night Fighter, furry porn, find out on tonight's focus trip. True. Yeah, I didn't know what was going to happen. Originally, we weren't going to be talking about any of this, and then T-Rex Arms just had to drop that for me. So I appreciate it, sir, for the $10. Thank you very much. And Mike Spector for 5 says, what did you think of Wrangler Star's take on the T-Rex bullshit? I know that he quoted the Talmud and called Kara Yoko Ono in the video, but I haven't personally seen it.
Holy shit, really?
Is it just Wrangle Stars like continuing to slide into weirdom?
He's an interesting guy. If you watch his content over the years,
Dwark, there's nothing wrong with the Polish. There's nothing wrong with the Polish, Dwark. I'm also Polish and German, both.
Yeah, I've been watching Wrangler Star for years. It's gotten wild.
All right, wild ride,
gentlemen. You want to hear my take on the whole
Night Fighter? What do you got to say about the Wrangler Star situation?
All right, I think I've collected myself a little bit. Where was I?
Bro, I don't even know.
Your father was inside of you.
Do not come.
Were you there?
No, I don't even want to be here.
We were
No,
talking about family dynamics.
Yes, family dynamics. Yeah.
And then I think I had an episode. I blacked out, and then I was off the stream.
Yep.
Yeah. So your
right.
take on the T-Rex arms family dynamics? I think you had an apt analogy there about snakes and T-Rexes or something.
Oh, I really don't have an opinion on it.
Oh, perfect. Excellent. Do you like Wrangler Star?
Wrangler Star. The biggest star in the wrangling world.
Oh dear. Focus Strip's wife, 109. Thank you, Anna. Says is Night Fighter calling in from a walkie-talkie? Yeah, 2008 called. Well, thank you for the 199. Appreciate it, ma'am.
Well, yeah. Sorry about the tech.
What?
Yeah. I don't. Is that what the kids call it now? The tech.
Yeah, the tech.
Yeah.
Real sorry, the
and
tech's not
string
good.
connection.
You know what I'll do? I'll buy a $10,000 mic just to please that guy.
What is going?
Please do.
Yeah,
just
I don't
for the
know
memes.
what.
Can you
I
send
don't
me
know
the
what
receipt?
that is.
I want to see the receipt.
Let me see your receipt, darling. I really want to see it.
Wrangle Star. I guess my opinion on Wrangle Star is that he calls everyone beloved.
That's nice.
Let me see your ass, darling.
Whoa.
I really want to see it.
All right. Well, we got 1,000 people still watching us somehow 3 hours into a stream on a Friday night. So let's see your Wrangler Star's take on all of this.
T-Rex
Hell
arm
yeah.
situation that all of you are all in an uproar about. And I will give you my take. Many of you are going to get butthurt and you're not going to like it. And the reason why I'm going to give it is twofold. One, I've been a customer of that fine company for a long time. I probably watched the majority of Lucas's videos. I have a whole shop full of their product, and I've never had a bad experience with them. Now, with that being said, it's in new hands now, and all of you are jumping into my DMs, jumping into the comments, and super mad that I have the gall to share a T-Rex holster. And you're too retarded to come to the idea or come to the conclusion or figure out that perhaps these things were purchased years ago. So with that logic, I guess I'll just take all of the stuff that I use and like and spent my hard-earned money on and just throw it in the trash like none of you are doing who own it. So start with that. Also, the internet loves a conflict, and this is easy content for me. I don't have to prep. I don't have to spend all day moving a camera around. I can turn off my camera, go off the dome, and create a video that's going to get a ton of views, be very controversial, and make me a bunch of AdSense. So there you have it. Those are the two reasons.
Damn, let's
this
go.
Is cool. What the fuck? How am I just seeing this guy now?
Oh,
Yeah, I mean,
you gotta
I've interacted with him before. He has 2.5
I've heard his
million
name
subs.
a ton after I talked about Overton Windex. Like for some reason,
No,
he got
I
brought
know.
up a lot.
This is, guys, you know what this is? This is rage bait. You guys fell for the rage bait. He is rage baiting you guys so hard. He called you retard in the first 15 seconds. He's rage baiting you.
Yeah.
This is
Yeah,
rage
didn't he
bait.
just
Cool.
say it
I like
after
it.
he
I
called
like
everyone
this guy.
retards?
Yeah,
he's
like,
this gets a lot of views and it's easy.
this is going to be controversial and this is going to get a lot of clicks and make me a lot of money. I don't even have to think about it. I can be lazy and make a quick video. Yeah, this
Hell
is rage bait.
yeah.
Rage
You
bait
should,
101, baby.
You should watch some
What
of
a
his
fucking
videos
chat.
on how to
It's
attack
what a
robot
fucking
Boston
chat.
Dynamics
So this
dogs.
is it. So we're gonna rage bait the audience into thinking that we side with him, so that other people can make content on us, and that this is the infinite content glitch
Might
right
surprise you, but I've actually been accused of rage baiting.
here. No, not you.
Never.
And what people don't understand is it's just my really terrible opinion.
Right? No. I actually believe that. Rage bait or real opinion? Call it.
His hair kind of
And
does look
Wrangle
good.
Star
Mm-hmm.
is out
Yeah.
there roping and riding,
My
joking
favorite.
and diving,
And I'm feeling
ducking
lazy
and
today.
bucking.
So first off, little background. Lucas Botkin started a small company, T-Rex Arms, by making holsters. Lucas is a hardworking, very driven young man that has achieved more in his short life than the majority of you have and ever will, especially the ones who like to criticize him about his shooting, about his lack of being in the military, about his LARPing, etc. He's went through it, and I understand. I understand. I've been on YouTube for a long, long time, and I've become a hard, jaded old trout. And to be honest with you, I don't care what other people think about me. You think I'd wear this ridiculous outfit if I did? Lucas is a very emotional and insecure young man. How do I know this? Because I've watched him. I've watched him come up. I've watched how he's tried to defend himself, how he tries to justify everything that he does to the trolls where he really wears his heart on his sleeve. He's a very driven, high-functioning, very intentional guy. And what he's accomplished is very impressive. And I'm super proud of him. But he's a very emotional guy. And that's come out in his videos and just how he's conducted himself. He's very reactionary. He started his business. He worked hard. He grew it. His family started getting involved. I'm not going to tell the whole story. We have his side of the story. You can go watch it. I watched the whole thing. And now we've got partners. Now, I would have warned him, never bring partners into your business. Bring employees in. But what do they say about partnership? It's the only ship that won't sail. And especially when you're dealing with family, there's all sorts of problems that can come up from that. Long story short, what ended up happening was as the company grew, more time, when you got more money coming in, that's when the knives come out and there became problems. Ultimately,
I remember what I was going to say.
Out.
Go for it, John.
Okay. I think of Lucas Botkin like Palestine, and I think of Trex arms like Israel. And I hope that they mutually destroy each other. And then I will emerge from the ashes and rule as king of Jerusalem.
Day is filled, my friend. Day is filled.
I will lay down the law with an iron fist. For the crime of going 5 miles over the speed limit, I sentence you to death.
Some would say with an iron dome.
That too. Missiles are important. But really, I mean, when you look at that place, if you remove both groups, it's great real estate.
True.
Sounds
Make
like
a resort
Rebels
out there.
Raiders.
And
Yeah,
I
the
think
Trump
a
Tower
completely
Hotel.
empty factory, you could just move in and say that the T-Rex Arms factory was promised to you.
3,000 years
I take on their gains, and you know, the enemy of my enemy is my friend, and all that stuff.
Yeah, sometimes you got to turn Gaza into Zaza. You know what I mean?
Right.
Into Trump Plaza.
That's my take on it, I guess.
Fuck,
I'll get
vintage welfare, fucking beating me
No,
to it.
dude, yeah, I thought you copied him, but you guys said it at the
No, I
exact same
looked
time.
up like, fuck!
Dude, is it actually just you in the chat?
might
Vintage Welfare is your second account?
Is this your alt?
No, it's my alt. I actually pay that guy.
Make Night Fighter full time. True. He dropped
Kind of
again.
against his
He'll be
will.
back.
They
Don't
bought
worry.
him out, and he's out in the cold now. The company that he started, and now is being ran by his family. And so hard, feelings are hard. There are all sorts of problems. It seems that they don't talk to each other anymore. This has been a big problem and driven a big wedge into the relationship. But we have one side of the story. We have one side of the story.
Well, we have both
You
now.
know, by the standard of which you judge, gentlemen, you will be judged. I know you love a controversy. I know you want to pile on. I know you want to watch this video that he put up and side with Lucas, and he's the good guy, and his wife is the martyr, and all the other family are all demons, and took advantage and screwed the poor young man out of his business. Now, that may or may not be true, but until we know both sides of the story, you have no idea. You're only hearing one side of the story. And then enters Lucas's wife. Lucas told in his video that she wanted to get involved with the business, that she had expertise, she's got a college education, and repeatedly tried to get into the business and was rebuffed. You got a family-ran business that's ran by brothers. They've been it from the beginning. You've got the new girl, the new woman coming in who feels slighted, who is maybe or maybe not putting her nose where it doesn't belong and getting rebuffed, and now she's mad. This is my theory.
Well, right. I think Wrangler Star is just kind of ill-informed in this, and he is admittedly ill-informed in this because the problem is that the other women were already working at the
I'd
company
have
at
the
time.
same arguments because the other wives are involved.
Yeah, so I mean, I think Regular Star actually just doesn't know what he's talking about, and he is just being lazy and farming clicks. This is just farming clicks.
At least he said that. I like
Yeah.
this guy off rip, even though he's, in my opinion, he's probably, I could say.
Well,
that.
he's wrong, but let's
If you
let's see
watch
what he
some
says.
of his,
He
No,
does
I wanna-
have a tendency to
I've
rage
never
bait
watched
if you
this
watch
guy
his other
until now.
stuff. It-
I think it's
you'll,
funny.
You'll,
He has
you'll
some pretty
enjoy
good-
going through his other stuff vintage.
Yeah, he has some pretty good schizo content about shooting UN soldiers and the weak
Hell
spots
yeah.
of Boston Dynamic dogs. That's a pretty good
That's
series.
fucking cool. Hell yeah. Oh, damn. I'm going to have to go down a rabbit hole tonight.
Yeah, no, there's a lot of good content, especially
Yeah.
in his YouTube shorts where it gets kind of crazy sometimes.
Wrangler Star is affiliated with Unauthorized TV. If you're familiar with Vox Day and some of the other guys over there, so if you're into some of that esoteric content, it is out there for you to enjoy.
Damn.
She's at home. She's unhappy. She's pouring poison in Lucas's ear, not getting what she wants, not being treated with the respect that she deserves.
Source: I made it the fuck up.
I mean, everything at this point is conjecture based on,
pouring poison in Lucas's ear, not getting what she wants, not being treated with the respect that she deserves. From the brother's perspective, I understand it. Do we want an outsider coming in? We got a business that's running. We've been here for the beginning. We don't really need this, or we don't want. I don't know what the deal is. And then comes the allegations. According to Lucas, someone sent inappropriate pictures to her and disrespected him, and the whole thing blew up over this. Now, is this true? I don't know if this is true. And if someone sent you explicit pictures, so what? So what? And I find it unlikely. I'm not saying unlikely.
Whoa, wait.
No, this is he has no idea what he's talking. He's just talking out of his ass.
Dude, I love it. Why? Because he's just like overconfidently wrong, but he's like he owns it so hard that
he's like, I don't care. He's like, what are you gonna do about it? I'm wrong, and I'm still gonna talk.
Yeah, fuck
what
you.
Are you gonna
I'm
do
gonna make a
about
bunch
it?
of money in AdSense because of this video. And anyway, Lucas's wife's a cunt, and anyway.
I sent your wife furry porn, so what?
I said, maybe it did happen.
Yeah. You know what? She's probably just like my bitch ex-wife. That's what she did.
Yeah, that's so good.
Dunning-Kruger maxing true.
Yes, this is Dunning-Kruger maxing. Holy shit. Now I understand why people bring up this guy. Apparently, like Overton Windex loves this dude, and like I couldn't understand it, but now I'm like,
funny.
It makes sense a little bit because they both have a veil. This is
true.
fun, dude.
Yeah, we're gonna get Wrangler Star versus Hop on anything.
Dude,
Let's
you
go.
need to bring him on.
Is
Is
Hop
there a
drunk
way
or
you can do
sober?
But I can get Hop on.
Oh, by the way,
I can't get Wrangler Star.
I meant
Wrangler Star
for the
versus Hop
debate.
would be funny. If
I
you
could get
set
Wrangler
that
Star
up.
on.
Sober Hop versus drunk Hop, right? On a debate are two very different things.
Yeah.
Matt
Well,
Pranka
that's the
versus
thing. You
Wrangler
get
Star.
both. No matter what version you
Ooh.
get both, right? Because if he starts not drunk, he's going to end drunk, right? So you get the full spectrum of Hop drunk in a debate.
When he gets mad, I like when Hop's mad. It's funny. He really he's scary. I like ran away when I saw him yell at that guy about the LNS guy.
Oh, dude, I have.
I ran away.
I
I was
have
like,
You're cutting me off, and now you don't care. I can't keep up.
I don't fucking care, brother. Come on.
Okay, great, but
What's good about the
very scary. He's a very scary. Who the fuck?
What's good about this object?
But will he review it?
Yeah, we're gonna review it. You gonna review it, bro?
And I find it unlikely. I'm not going to say unlikely because I don't know. I find it strange that someone would submit pictures unsolicited to the owner's wife. Some people have speculated. Takes two to tango. How do I say this without getting into trouble? Our Jewish friends in the Talmud, back in the law, always said, this was the early law of God, that you could not convict anyone on the testimony of one person, but only upon the testimony of 2 and 3. And they also said for many, many years that the testimony of a woman was unreliable to try a man. So do with that what you want to. But
anyways, here's what the Talmud says about this situation.
What? Wait, was he arguing that the Talmud, like?
I believe
so. Yeah, he's saying in the Talmud you can't believe a woman over a man, right?
So he's citing. So if I'm getting this correct, he's citing the
Talmud for moral
for his opinion. Like he's not being like against the Talmud's thing there. That's just him being like, anyway, in the Talmud.
This is my
3-year-olds.
This is my source for moral authority is the Talmud, which has a lot of other things in it, which may or may not be, moral. Hey, but speaking of moral, the chat did want to know John's opinion on furry porn.
On the furry porn?
Mm-hmm.
Getting sent?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I actually, sadly, I've been watching the videos that both sides have been releasing. I'm not proud of it. And I think the story was that the guy tried to send that shit from one of his devices to another.
right?
Right, essentially.
And then
yeah.
somehow Lucas Botkin's wife got in the mix, like in the message list, the recipient list.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I thought you
We
were going
can
to say
just-
you sent it. I thought that was where you were going with that. Like, I'm not proud of it, but I sent it.
But I did. I had to send it.
No, I'm not proud of the fact that I've watched the videos with
fair.
Lucas Botkin and the other side coming out about it, and I pee poo pooed, and they said I couldn't, so I left, and then they're like, well, actually, he poo poo pee peed, and we're really sad about it.
Very accurate. Very accurate.
No, but the story that was told in different videos was that the guy tried sending the porn from one device to another, and somehow Lucas Botkin's wife got in the recipient list. That's the story, right? Or do I have it wrong? Okay. Huge load of bullshit. Absolute fucking load of bullshit. I don't know why you couldn't just go on that device and get the porn from wherever you had it. Like whatever site you accessed it from. Why do you have to send it from one device to another?
It was
and
probably
then-
his work phone.
It was his Android.
Yeah, and then you accidentally click your boss's wife. Oh, let me make sure to send this to myself. If you're only sending it to yourself, wouldn't you only have one recipient? And then somehow there's two recipients. Shouldn't you double check that? I think it was intentional, and the fucker doesn't have the balls to own up to it.
So you disagree with their take that it couldn't have possibly been.
Yeah, I disagree.
not an accident.
There's two possibilities. The guy's either a complete fucking retard, or he meant to send it to her.
I agree with your first take. I mean, maybe you're right about the second. I don't know.
Well, I mean, call it. Yeah.
So here's the thing. Here's the thing, though. Neither story is good, right? So if you want to stick to the story that was an accident, it's a really stupid accident.
Yeah,
That's
it's like a
like-
fucking
it's-
American Pie movie. How do you even get there?
It's
It's like, hey, my gun went off when I was cleaning it. It's like that level of type stuff. So I don't buy it at all. I'm actually surprised Lucas didn't resort to any sort of violence against the guy. And the company people, his brothers are like, well, he started talking about it. Yeah, I'd fucking talk about it too.
Real quick before we move on from NDing while cleaning your guns, I got to make fun of one of my friends real quick. You know who you are. You shot a hole in your ceiling with a 12-gauge shotgun when you were fucking around with it drunk in Discord the other day.
Brother.
You silly goose.
Oh, I thought that was going to be a sig joke for a second.
Yeah, I
Get him.
I've seen a 6-week-old baby with a bullet through its head because his dad was cleaning his gun and shot through the wall and killed his son. It's not funny. So
Sorry, that's awful.
if you guys don't check your weapons before you do anything other than shoot, you're retarded. You're like the furry porn guy over at Trex Arms.
You're a furry porn guy. That's a good way to put it, but worse.
Yeah.
There's certain times that you hear a story and you just know it's bullshit, and that's pretty much the one I heard. I don't know the truth about the rest of the stuff. Most of it's just he said, she said. But the explanation of how the porn got sent, if a story doesn't make sense, it's a fucking lie. That's what I'll impart you with.
Well, and I don't even think it
The
matters.
truth
that
is
much.
always simple. A equals B equals C. Once you start getting in all these convoluted fucking things, it's usually a lie.
I think you put it well. Pee pee poo poo versus poo poo pee pee. Made sense to me.
Yeah. And, who knows? Hopefully they both have nukes and they kill each other.
I know they're about to complete nukes. That's what I was told.
Well, yeah, I mean...
It's India versus Pakistan, World War Stink.
The Prime Minister of Trex Arms said that Lucas Botkin is about to complete his nuclear weapons program. We have to strike now.
I remember seeing that.
T-Rex Arms Lucas is 2 weeks away from WMDs.
From a WMD. That's good. You guys have seen this, haven't you? This is the ND copy pasta. So pro tip, if you own a gun over a year without negligent discharging at least once, you aren't handling it enough. NDs are a natural part of handling weapons. Just like tweaking your back is part of weightlifting,
Brain rot.
and car accidents are part of driving. I ND several times a year because I actually handle and know how
Hell
to use
yeah.
my weapons. It makes me a better firearms handler and marksman, and it's a small part of the price you pay in the sheepdog lifestyle. Simple fact is, the safety mentality will build mental blocks in your head that will get you killed. You need to be comfortable putting your finger putting your finger on the trigger and pointing the gun wherever you want, no matter the time, place, or status of the weapon. Taking time to check whether the gun is loaded whenever you pick one up will serve to make you hesitate in a personal defense scenario. You fucking safety idiots are going to get people killed because of all this fucking ND shaming. Guns are inherently dangerous. You need to accept it.
Yeah.
Well, one thing I've said for years is that, the first rule of weapons safety is always have fun.
True.
That's true. You should the second rule is always have it pointed in the direction of a possible threat with your finger on the trigger. You always want to be ready. No, it's true. Very valid. I got that from the Spetsnaz, actually. Read the training manuals.
Yeah.
We have someone with their feelings hurt. Are they creating things? Are they making things up? Are they soliciting something? Or are they somewhat involved? And then using that to blow everything up, using that to throw a monkey in the works. And now you have a situation where you have how would I put it? Lucas and his wife, kind of like a Romeo and Juliet. Oh, my lady was disrespected. It's us against the world, and Lucas goes to war over it. Now, did what he said about her, did it happen? I don't know. But the whole company was blown up, and I don't know if that was the only case, but it seemed to come up a lot in the conversation, and that's what I was reading behind the lines. Probably.
I really think they should have let Lucas eat them out.
Eat them out?
Come again?
Hell yeah.
Yeah, didn't they have a meeting where he was like, hey, either you eat me out or I eat you out?
I think the actual terminology was, would you suck my pussy? And it's the other way around.
It had something to do with ownership of the company.
Yeah.
Do not come.
Sub, right?
I really think they should have let Lucas eat them out. Things would probably be better. They could have shares. They could still get some checks from the company.
Gone as soon as he came.
I like the Samson option references in the chat.
Yeah, Samson option. Actually, that's good. Just a second.
Your nose into something where it didn't belong, and Lucas being backed into a corner where he's got to defend Milady and blows up the whole thing. And now we have a situation where the whole family is estranged. Lucas is out in the cold and lost his business. I find the whole thing fishy. To make such a big deal over someone sending illicit pictures, whether that happened or not, I do not know, but it just doesn't seem right. It doesn't feel right, and it just doesn't seem like you would blow up an entire family relationship and a whole business and maybe hard feelings for the rest of your life over something like that, if it even happened. I don't know. So where do I stand on this? Am I going to pick a side? Am I going to come on here with all of you who want me to throw all my stuff away and speak bad and trash talk T-Rex arms, and we're going to do just like you all did with Benchmade, and you're still going on about that, over a tempest in the teapot, a little bit of nothing. I think we have the same thing going on here. Until we hear the other side of the story. I'd like to hear from Isaac. I'd like to hear from the other brothers. What's their take on it? Is there two sides to the story? Lucas accused them of running an unethical business or doing something. He alluded to the fact that they're doing something.
So, unfortunately, this was uploaded to members first. So, this would be before the brothers' response, I guess.
24th or 25th kind of deal.
But that was still after the initial video that they released. And again,
this would be post Brandon's video because Brandon talked with me for 2 hours.
So is his argument just don't defend your wife and
maximum rage? I'm telling you, this is the.
I mean, I've never watched a single video this guy's ever put out. So this is the first time I'm seeing it. I think the way he started the video was mad funny, but Like I know if he's rage baiting, it's working.
Regular Star is divorced. Actually, that checks out.
He's the type. Well, probably because he was doing crazy shit like duct taping ground wires across his bed and plugging them into the wall and shit.
Yeah, he was doing that.
Yeah, like that's what he was doing for content for a while.
Yeah, I remember that.
Didn't he
And then
used to
suddenly he
review
started
like tools? Like that's how I
Yeah.
subscribed to him. He did like tool reviews like before
Uh-huh.
Torque Test channel existed.
He's having a not a midlife crisis.
How long has he been
a
doing like
three-quarter life
gun
crisis.
stuff? How long has
Well,
he
let
been doing
me.
gun stuff?
He's
Hop,
been
Hop
reviewing
came in
gun
here and
stuff
said
for
that
a while.
Hop
went-
said that he didn't do it long, is what he inferred.
He's really into
No.
this denim look. He's
He
into
did
his
it for a
denim
short
days.
period of while, for a very short period of like as far as content is. Oh shit! Somebody's knocking on my door. I gotta go.
Go get him. I mean, he does some firearms content, does some AI to get fit in 46 days, some chainsaw stuff, outdoors content, power content. It's a multi-factorial channel that does a little bit of everything. But yeah, he's gone through some absolutely wacky faces.
What an odd
very,
guy.
very wacky.
What an
Very
odd
wacky.
individual.
What a
I'll check
strange
him out.
man. Anyway, we're
Yeah.
almost done with this. I want to see if he has anything else crazy to say because I was told that he compared her to Yoko Ono.
Thing, or something dishonest or something that doesn't meet his high standard, and he just couldn't have it. So that was another reason why he walked away. But he spent a lot of time hammering on that thing with the wife. And I've been around these situations before, and a woman can come into an environment like that and just stir up problems, just stir up chaos where it doesn't need to be stirred up. This is my opinion, and if I'm wrong, I'll do a mea culpa. But it seems to me that was my gut feeling, and I always trust my gut. I know people, and it seemed a little bit fishy. So, am I going to support T-Rex Arms?
The same gut that crapped my pants? No, thank you.
I'm waiting for that video, brother.
It's not going to make any difference to me, unless I hear otherwise. And so you all of you who get up on the high horse and said, "Oh, someone's clutching your pearls." Someone said explicit pictures to some woman. Oh, you can't even mention them in conversation. Let's follow you around. Let's follow you around for the next year.
Just for the record, I have never sent my boss's wife sexual images ever. In fact,
Have any of us here on the panel ever downloaded fucking furry
It's like
porn?
how
No.
weird is that? Well, looking at you, Starfish, but
whoa.
But I mean, listen, like nobody's perfect, but all we're saying is like maybe you should fire the guy that sends your brother's wife furry porn. Like, I mean, that's it.
It's a little strange how hard he's actually going at.
Like we're
I
not.
don't
Yeah,
know,
this
it's
is
a little
like
weird.
this is the counter pearl clutching, right? So you're upset at the people who are upset that something bad happened. You know what I'm saying?
I mean, he brings up some points that are like, okay, if something is true or not true, but he's making the point that Lucas is probably the one like hiding something, or his wife is the one hiding something. Like he's blaming them for the situation. And
I
it's
feel like there's some projection going on here where it's like, listen, I know what happens in these situations. I've been through a divorce.
Wrangler Star furry porn browser history check. Is that what we need?
And to see how whole you are. How about you come down off your cross and extend a little bit of grace until you have both sides of the story. So I don't give a damn about explicit pictures. Bad things happen to a lot of people. Grow up. So what? Big deal.
Bruh, bad thing happened, therefore don't care. All right.
If he is rage baiting, he's working. It's working
Peak
on me.
rage bait.
Did he fucking cook you, Vintage? Is that what happened?
He's getting me a little
Seems a
bit.
fishy to
It's
me.
annoying.
Now, if Lucas, it turns out that he's right, and his brothers truly were demons, and threw him under the bus and intentionally pushed him out because they're wicked men, we can do another video. We can look at that. I will, of course, support Lucas if he starts a new business and whatever he does. He's never done anything to me. I found his training videos to be excellent. I've received a lot of benefit from the video content that he's put up, as well as his brother Isaac. Amazing videos, advocates for the Second Amendment, a great family as far as I knew. So to have this all blow up so suddenly, I have to think there's got to be an outside force. There's got to be something that caused all this, something that has gotten in between.
Or maybe
families
it just
and so
happened
tight, so
behind the
close.
scenes slowly.
I'd take a look at the wife if it were me. So I don't know. This is my speculation.
I take a look at the wife. I don't know. I mean,
I wonder how.
she
I don't
does-
believe this is rage bait, dude. I don't believe this is. I think this is just actually his opinion.
Yeah.
He opened the video up by calling people retards for watching it. It's 100% rage bait.
No. That's 100% true. But there's a part in it where it's like there's what do they call it? The Freudian slip. Like there's
where he actually
parts where he's
believes it.
being serious.
Mm-hmm.
I have free speech. I can say what I want, say what I feel. And if I'm proven otherwise, as I said, I'll do another video and put the truth out if I find it. But until we hear the other side, let it go. Boycott. Your stupid boycotts don't work, and it's just tiresome and enough. Let's hear both sides of the story, and we'll reserve judgment until then. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you all in the next video.
Yeah, he's leading with the I'm rage baiting thing, but he's being serious in some of it.
I think so. Oh, that's good. W Star isn't smart enough to rage bait. I mean, I don't know about the guy personally. I've just watched some of his content.
Dude, this is
I've
the
been aware
first
of him
video
for a long
I've
time.
ever seen of this guy.
Yeah,
We need a schizo compilation of this guy because he has some pretty awesome videos.
I
The
just
Forest
saw the
Service he was
one
fired
about
from? I do
the blue
remember that,
helmets.
He was
Wild.
fired from the Forest Service?
Yeah, no, he was fired from the Forest Service because he did get fired for a really silly reason. In one of his YouTube shorts, I believe, his young son put on his Forest Service issue helmet, and they fired him because his son put on issued gear, and they got really mad over that.
Okay,
so
no, that's stupid.
yeah.
Huge ass for $4.99 says Night Fighter taking hits like his dad's balls on his chin. Ah, disgusting. Thank you for that, huge ass. John really did come in just to derail the conversation. David for 5 says starting the fund for Angry Hop to interview the Trex Arms executive panel. L&S Defender wasn't ready. I don't know what he expected, but he got it. Thank you, David, for the 5.
Yeah, homie.
SB89 for the 5 says, have probably spent more time south of the border than you have. Cope and seethe. Only whites down there were the colonizers they left or miscegenated. Your response, Starfish?
The skin color demographics are on Mexico's Wikipedia page. They're probably wider than the U.S. is at this point.
Sag. Ivana Gobble Your Knob Off for 2 says that guy looks like a Harvey Milk prototype. Or type. I don't know why I said prototype. Thank you for the 2, Ivana. Vintage Welfare for 5 says, I don't think anyone is actually in Wrangle Star's DMs. It's just Fent and schizophrenia. Maybe his bed wasn't grounded with enough tinfoil. Yeah, maybe not. We'll see. Everybody has their schizo days, some more than others. Thank you, Vintage Welfare. Josiah Bush for 5 says, can't watch now, but I'm eager to watch tomorrow. This stream is top quality. Keep up the good work. I wouldn't necessarily say that it's top quality, but it is definitely something. To be fair, I don't know if you can find this content anywhere else on the internet, okay? If you want GunTube slop drama, it's only here, baby. Thank you for the 5, Josiah Bush. Melis Demeanor, 199, says, I bet Night Fighter gives wild Iron Dome. Yeah, his Iron Dome goes hard. Thank you for the 199. Bloodbase for 999 says, Jury US Salem. That's actually good. That's good. That's what we'd rename it to. Appreciate you, Bloodbase. Thank you for the 10. Focus Trip's wife for 199 says, America with a special spelling says, car. What is that? What the fuck is a kilometer? Ah! It's good. Thank you for the 199. Huge ass 199 says Night Fighter will reign with an iron foreskin. True. A recreation of the one he lost. Just a Gun Guy for 2 says, put me in, coach. Also, Wrangler Star Caltrops how to. What?
He did a Caltrops video. Yeah, so basically he was taking wire fence and cutting them into little star patterns and bending them up. It was kind of like it started off like an ASMR video, and then it just ended up being a how to make caltrops video.
Cool. That's kind of new.
Interesting.
Focus, I did just send you 2 of his videos on how to defeat robots that he uploaded a while ago, and those are pretty cool.
Oh, that's the boring stuff. Let's get to the stuff where he's talking about grounding your bed and.
Beloved, this is the new Atlas robot from General Dynamics. When they arm this killing machine with M4s and flamethrowers, and they send these into our neighborhoods, here's how we're going to defeat them. You're going to drop big hunks of rope on it. Climbing rope, work rope, extension cords. If you live out in the country, get some fence pliers. Fence pliers, $20. You can cut through any fence and take any section of wire from anything, and you can wad that up and put that in its path. I don't care how clever it is. There's nothing that's going to fight through a big old mess and hank of rope and wire. Act accordingly.
Where's the one about him shooting the robot dogs? Let's watch that.
I also
Fucking
sent that one.
nuts. Let's go. This guy's cool. I'm like he flip flopping. Oh man.
The battery and CPU are located approximately right here. The limb articulators are located at the top of the 4 limbs. I would recommend 62 grain green tip penetrators because they will be armor plated. If you don't have access to that, paintball will be effective in disabling the cameras. However, it's easily reversible. Another option will be to do a mix, 50-50 mix of old engine oil, oil-based paint, black, and a good dose of sand into a balloon. The sand will scratch up and gum up the works, and the paint will be very difficult to remove. Act accordingly.
Dude, I'm doing a video on this guy. Holy shit. This guy's cool as fuck. It was just a robot. Dude, this guy's nuts. Let's
Went
go.
from this guy's making me rage to this guy's cool as fuck.
He's both. Yeah, I guess I can believe two things at once.
This is his a little bit later content. There for a little while, he was on the if you don't own a Daniel Defense, you'll get killed in the streets type. Like, and he was dead set. He was dead set on that, and then like a year and a half or 2 years goes by, and then all of a sudden he's got. And I even commented on that video. I was like, "Dude, you're retarded. Why would I not buy an Arrow Precision right now when they're, like $600 or whatever, and it's a decent rifle versus paying $2,600 for a Daniel Defense that's garbage?" And he said, "I said what I said. Nothing else will do." And then, a year and a half later,
knows everything. I just think that he's like funny as fuck. That's
Who
where I'm at
is-
with it. Wrangler Star.
No, we just had. John, did you see this?
We're watching his Portland defense video. Yeah, this is just a gun guy. Put him up.
Oh, I didn't know if you.
I did. That's not been invited.
Okay.
Okay.
We got a Geisty.
That's good.
Fan of the 19X, huh?
Plus a balaclava just for extra protection, I suppose, while you're out in Portland. But we have just a. Let me pull him out, bring him back in. Just a gun guy. How's your day going, sir?
Guys. Oh, I'm good. Can you hear me all right?
Yeah, we can hear you. Okay.
Yeah.
How you doing, man?
Okay. Good, man. No, Wrangler Star is just wild.
Let me pull you down a little bit.
What we're talking about? Oh my bad.
Sorry, go for it, homie.
Oh.
Gun room. I don't know if they're okay to be in the background on stream or if that'll get you striked.
They're fine.
Okay.
Your mic is cutting out a little bit.
It is?
Is it close to your face? Like, do you have it under the balaclava? It's just very.
I got in ears right now.
Okay, gotcha.
Let me see if I can mess with that. Let me see if I can switch my audio really quick.
All right. Well, while he's getting that, I'm gonna mute you real
Just
fast.
turn it down a little bit. It'll help. It'll help.
Punchwood for 2 says she's a mean lady. I don't know. I've never seen or met her. True. Yeah, source. I made it up, bro. Thank you for the $2, Punchwood. Dr. Fuzzy for $4.99 says a wise man changes his opinions based on who he's trolling. Yes. As I stutter my way through that, as it's 3.5 hours into a stream. Thank you for that.
I got a woman bladder. I'll be back.
Charles Chuck for $2 says situation has become keeping up with the Botkins. A little bit, it's always hot news when they release a video going after the other person. yeah, it just happens. Thank you, Chuck, for the $2. Just a gun guy, you back?
Yeah, can you hear me all right? Is it, or I need to turn it up louder?
No, don't turn it up louder. It's still a little scratchy, for lack of a better term. But yeah, did you have thoughts or opinions on the Botkin situation?
So, I mean, I've seen Lucas's videos for a long time and whatnot, and I respect what he brings to the community in terms of, getting his trading and some knowledge out there. I think he's, like anybody, made some mistakes and tried to bury them, like anybody early in their media career who thinks that, speeding up videos or whatever he wants to do can help him look good, generate more clicks. But out of the two, I think him and Isaac are pretty much the face of the company right now, with obviously Lucas being the original and leading on the firearms and gear front, and then Isaac being respectfully more the political side and technology. And I think that together I thought they were a great duo. So didn't see the falling out coming, but also didn't, they did a really good job, I guess you could say, in terms of PR, of hiding all of the stuff going on behind
they're having behind the scene.
Oh yeah. Which sucks, out of the, not that I agree with a lot of gun companies, because, some of them are giant corporations and their political views are just to not have any publicly. So having a company that started off as just, homegrown Kydex holsters grow into like something big and kind of respectful, and they put their faith out front, at least as a, I don't know if you want to call it a flaunt now, but at least Lucas did. I had some respect for that. I think that was pretty cool, and I would like to see more companies embracing that. I mean, that's kind of my whole thing, is spreading faith in the gun community. But so on the side, so I like that. But yeah, man, the falling out just sucks. I don't really have any skin in the game either way, but it would have been nice if they respected, his original stake in the company. And if anything, I would have, with what they're dealing with now with PR fallout, I would have probably been better if they just let him buy them out, honestly.
Yeah, well, I think now they probably realize that, but I don't think it's going to go the other direction now, because now Lucas is like, well, I already started the buyout. I already offered you. You turned me down. So now he's like, you think you can run the company without me? That's fine. Do it.
The oopsie has been made.
Oh yeah.
Also, hey, gun guy, do you want to be called gun guy or another name?
That's totally fine. Yeah,
Could you switch to your phone mic? Because that's probably going to be better for everybody if you just switch to your phone mic, and it should automatically cut out the echo. So
yeah, you're really popping quite a bit.
You're scratching a little bit, and that comes from a audio quality, not necessarily this podcast main feature. As some of our guests, but yeah, if we could turn that down just a little bit.
Yeah, I think I blew everyone out when I joined too, right? So.
Yeah, you're just loud, but your audio sounds fine though.
Yeah. Real quick, I gotta shout out my boy.
You're probably gonna get an echo though, because it's coming through like my audio on my phone. That is okay.
You're good. Yeah.
Okay. Cool. Cool.
Echo cancellation software. You sound 1,000 times better now. Echo cancellation software is amazing.
Sweet.
Go ahead, John.
Okay. Yep.
It's magical. No, I was saying real quick, I got to shout out my boy who is drunkenly watching the stream right now, Big Logan. He has cool surplus. He's a cool guy.
Logan Surplus. Chuck for $2 says situation has become keeping up with the Botkins. Yeah, we got to that. It definitely is. I think people are here for it. Now that it's all being done in the public arena, if there's a response video on either side, everybody's talking about it instantly. I think that's just the way it's going to go.
Has Lucas tweeted since the video went out?
Has Lucas? Oh, let me see here. Well, he did just post a wife to they're on a road trip right now, but yeah, so he posted to a story about him and his wife. So
wonder if they planned that release around that.
Yeah, it's like, hey, Lucas is going to be out of town. Post the video so he can't respond. I don't know, maybe.
Yeah, well,
send more anamorphic animal porn to him now. It's a coordinated attack.
Sura's second furry image just hit her phone. SB89 for 2 says, we merchant book posting now. Let me on. No, we're not talking about the Talmud now. Brief mention. Just a gun guy. What are your thoughts on the Talmud? You think it's a good?
I think it's the
collection
worst
text?
thing to bring that into the situation with like
It's randomly. It's like
oh
that's
my
not
god, well,
true.
Ringo
Talmud.
Starr is like already schizo. I mean, he's so back and forth between. I think he just does anything to content farm. For the longest time, he was posting like daily cold dunks in his like creek in the morning with all those guys, you know, and trying to get into like the physical fitness side of things. And then it was firearms and night vision. Then it was like just straight how to make caltrops, how to blind cameras with like like rubber cement and shit. I mean,
I just I think he's just an older schizo guy who is now retired and has free time to make the most insane videos.
yeah, and there's no backlash, and it's all money. I mean, honestly, it's genius if you look at it from that regard. I mean, could you imagine being 60 years old? You just make some out there post. You've already got like 1 million followers, and everybody just rage baits or
I really liked one of his recent videos where he's like, "Oh, my wife's just bringing me food while I smoke a cigar with my feet hanging out while I'm watching Gaza burn." That's pretty cool. Video.
Dude, he is so out there. I think he's hilarious. I can't tell half the time if he's rage baiting or serious because his like demeanor. Sometimes I'm like, oh, this is totally just rage bait, and other times I'm like, oh wait, maybe he's actually serious, and this is just his mindset. It's just, you know, it's totally.
Yeah,
out
he's
there.
right on that line. It's that meme where he's looking at the color, and it's right on the line between real and rage bait.
Oh, definitely.
Huge ass for 189 says, I miss when Night Fighter was more schizo. No, we got the full Night Fighter schizo arc tonight. So we appreciate that. I hope John's having a good night out there, and I hope the night terrors have subsided a little bit for him.
Yeah. Oh, earlier when I touched on Novak's research and Broad River Tactical, he said he hadn't heard of them. So Broad River Tactical makes that Car 15. I don't know if you've seen the like PSR did a review of it, and Micah
If it's
did.
retro stuff, then yeah, I haven't seen it. Retro stuff isn't my game.
It's not. It's so what it. Well, part of it's retro, I guess, the handguard. But the idea is what it is it's just a modern take on a integral barrel. So it's just a ported barrel with a sleeve that goes over it to create a shroud, and then you can attach any suppressor to the end of that shroud, and then you get pretty much an integral system without having to pay for a dedicated integral.
Oh,
can.
so it does it end in a 1.375 by 24? So you can put on any can that you want?
It goes with Novox. I actually just went to OFAST, the Oklahoma Full Auto Shoot Trade Show, something like that last week, and did media with him. His will connect to anything that is Silencer Co. Alpha or Hub compatible. On the
that's what I mean. That's actually kind of a cool concept. I'll have to check that out now.
It's really cool. There's a good video that ARFCom just dropped the other day with Novox if you're interested. But yeah.
Well, I'll take a look at the drama.
Pretty fun. But yeah, no, that's what I was saying. So they've got beef though because Broad River came out to the market first, and he had a proprietary like upper that uses like an MP5 kind of handguard, but attaches to an AR9 to kind of make it retro looking. And Novox came up with a similar integral idea. And then Broad River was like, you stole my idea pretty much. And he's like, no, because yours is totally different than mine and the way it works. And now it's just become this whole interesting take. I'm sure it's going to, once he's dropping like products soon. I think like Sunday or something is the release of his integral system. And I'm sure after that, we're going to see a lot more people picking sides and talking shit. So I didn't know if you heard about it yet.
I haven't, no. But here's the important question for the panel. Punchwood for 5 says, what brand does a furry CCW?
Sky.
Yeah, a baby blue sky. Yeah, that's actually
a pink Taurus. Pink Taurus.
All good options. Probably a high point, honestly, since they're pores.
Actually,
pores.
Hey, don't talk bad on my high point. That thing has failed to die yet. I've tried to kill it. Now those
like
SCCY guys though, those are deadly.
It's gonna be like a weird CZ75 because furries got a lot of fucking money because they work in tech. Those suits cost like
Actually, that's
thousands of
funny.
dollars
Yeah.
or whatever. So they're gonna
How do you
have like
know?
a tricked out.
How do you know?
Because I got sent that. Like I got.
I've looked it up because I checked the website.
Called out on the stream.
Got
him.
How
Vintage,
many
you're
people
muted,
got?
by the way. If you're talking, you're
Oh,
muted.
they're all gonna clip that.
Vintage, you're muted. You're muted. You've been muted.
Damn.
Sorry, bro. If you were talking, you muted yourself when you left. You forgot to unmute. Boomer in here.
I stuttered at the worst time. That was awful.
Absolute Moon Man for 5 says Night Fighter is right. He is an expert at being eaten out by a grown man. Yeah. I mean, I'm sure he's had some aggressive takeovers in his family business. Thirsty Tree for $2 says bounced on my boy's D to this for hours. Thanks, John. I don't know how to feel about that, but thank you for the $2. Focus Trip's wife for $4.99 says John says he isn't scared of me, but I do get locked in the basement a lot. I think he is scared. Well, there is a reason you're down there right now. I don't know how you got a phone or a credit card, but thank you for the $4.99, Anna. Focus Trip's wife again for $1.99 says all these methods also work on Portland peeps. Yes, indeed. And then last one for the night, Coyote 6 for $1.99 says, let me pull it up. I like the French mustache. Focus Trip. French. You know what? Anna likes it too.
You look
so
French.
I'm gonna keep it.
I'm sorry. You look French, buddy.
That's such an interesting take by Vintage there. Just kick it
I
off.
know. Hey, look, it is a resident German and Polish guy. I don't know what the Polish has to do with it, but I can smell Frenchman. My mustache looks a lot more Aryan than yours.
Aryan, okay, yeah, sure.
It's lighter. It's lighter. That's why
It is
it's
lighter. That is true.
It has blue eyes. You can't see.
Yeah,
it.
well, I'm not.
Blue eyes
I'm
in there.
The real question
got
I'm
a
an Anglo-poor.
Whole
So.
beard going on under here.
Blue eyes, white dragon.
Blue eyes, white dragon. Yeah.
What is that? 6'5", blue eyes, finance, or whatever that song is.
Whatever
Remember that
fucking
pop?
white girl thing.
Yeah, unbelievable.
An affinity
All right,
for
gentlemen.
sauerkraut. But
Well, that was an interesting ride, to say the least. But before we get out of here, John, what do you got to shout out? What do you want to talk about?
Nothing.
Perfect. Excellent. Great guest. Just a Gun Guy, thanks for coming on. We've talked a bunch in the past, but this is the first time
yeah.
actually having you on the show. So anything you want to shill or shout out, or you want me to point out before we get out of here?
oh geez, I mean, just if you guys are interested in gun content and faith content mixed together, just a gun guy on Instagram. Besides that, I mean, I don't really make shit about me. I just try to share with the community.
He's got a dope Instagram
Read the
page.
Bible.
I am linking it in chat. Has a much
thank
bigger
you.
Instagram page than I do. It is Just a Gun Guy on there. Cool dude, cool content. Check it out.
But you got a bigger YouTube following than me, you see, so it evens out, right?
I mean, it depends. More, I was gonna say, depending on what your audience is, Instagram might be more important. But Richard, what do you got going on?
For those who don't know, I run the other channel. I post clips from the live stream over there. I'd appreciate it if you go over there and check that out. Go watch some of the playlists.
Many
I
clips
feel
will be
sorry
made of
for you.
this. Many clips will be made of this. I can say that link is also in the description or in the chat down there. Vintage Warfare recently booted off of YouTube monetization. I know he doesn't like to harp about it, but he also has a Patreon, which you can subscribe to see more of the Black Queen. Think about it like an OnlyFans, but for adults.
It's true. I also did a video today. If you want to, watch me dunk on fucking old superhero Reddit TV shows, that's on the channel today. So
yeah,
if you haven't seen it already.
his video on Arrow and their gun control episodes, I suppose, wildly cringe stuff. So go ahead and check him out.
Terrible. Yeah.
And Starfish, thanks for coming on and hanging out with us and providing a cogent counterpoint to the prevailing message on this show, I suppose. Anything you want to talk about or shout out before we get out of here, sir?
Yeah, I just want to say thanks for having me on, and make sure to like and subscribe to all the people and roast me in the comments on the VOD.
You're
Well,
cool.
I'm
That was
sure
good.
they
That was
will.
good. That was good.
Yeah.
Nice
But-
outro.
Yeah.
You know, I've been having some computer problems, so I literally have a video finished on my computer, but then a drive decided to die like 2 days ago. So the video is sitting on one of my drives. I need it to work. I ran like an 8-hour program to fix the drive, so that video will eventually be up after it resolves the issue, which I think actually finished doing its work during this stream. It did indeed. 7.1 hours it took to fix that drive. So, but there will be more content coming out this week, new videos on all the channels. But with all that out of the way, gentlemen, thank you so much for watching. I hope you all enjoyed. I will see you in the next one. God bless.
My heart goes out to you.
True. And now
Night, guys.
for some classic white girl music.